Ida Wilson woke up feeling her body ache everywhere. Her muscles protested with every move she made. The muscles she didn't know existed are all aching badly. She vaguely realized that someone was sleeping beside her, and they both were naked. "Kevin?" she whispered as her heart began to hammer with confusion and fear. Her mouth felt as dry as a desert. Her voice came out as just a mere whisper in the otherwise silent room. Kevin Hamilton is her boyfriend of 2 years. But deep down, she knows it's not Kevin. This doesn't feel right. She turned her head to see who the man beside her was. She is sure that the muscular figure sleeping beside her is a man. She prayed that it should be Kevin. All she remembered from last night was that she went to a pub to celebrate her promotion with Kevin and her best friend Claire. They had a few drinks and danced a lot. After that, she doesn't remember anything. The room is dark, but she can still see enough to know that the man is not Kevin. His features are clear and striking. He is the most handsome man she has ever seen. She is not worried about who he is. She didn't recognize him at all. She is worried about how to explain this to Kevin. She lost her virginity to a stranger. She panicked. She untangled herself from the man without waking him up. Quickly, she got dressed and tiptoed out of the room. She ran out of there as fast as she could. It's still dark outside. The sun is yet to rise. She hired a cab and reached her apartment, which she shares with her best friend Claire. She searched for Claire in their 2-bedroom apartment, but she didn't find Claire anywhere. Her best friend is the only one who can help her with this. She tried calling Claire's number, but it went to a voicemail. Quickly, she stripped her clothes and sat under the shower, desperate to wash away another man's scent from her body. After 1 hour of vigorous rubbing, she turned the shower off when she felt like she heard Claire's voice. She quickly dried herself and got dressed in some clothes she picked up in a haste. She was about to rush out of her room when she heard Kevin's voice. She hesitated a little to open the door and show him her face. Shame and guilt washed over her. "Claire, what did you do? Where is Ida?" Kevin's panicked voice filtered through the door. Ida wanted to openly and assure him that she was fine, but their next words froze her with shock. "Relax, baby. You wanted to push her out of your life and make it look like she cheated on you. That's what I did. I drugged her drink and sent her inside a random room that I knew was occupied by a man. Under the effects of the drug, she would lose her virginity to whoever he is. That's why we came here, right? To catch her red-handed when she walks in after spending her night with a man who is not you?" Claire said with a smile filled with malice. Ida froze with shock. She never imagined her best friend whom she met in one of her foster homes hiding so many ill intentions toward her. And Kevin, the man who pursued her for 2 years before she agreed to be with him, agreed to her cruel plan. Ida's heart squeezed painfully. The betrayal from the 2 people whom she trusted wholeheartedly is like a heated knife piercing through her body. "I wanted her out of my life, yes. But not like this. The only reason I agreed to your plan is because you are pregnant with my child. I just cannot ruin my family name if this news comes out. I cannot marry you if Ida is in my life. That's why I wanted her gone. But you had to go and humiliate her in the worst possible way. She will be broken when she realizes that she lost her virginity to a stranger. Then, if she finds out that I decided to marry you instead, she will not be able to recover from it," he said with a hint of worry. Kevin has feelings for Ida, but she never allowed intimacy between them until they were married. But Claire, on the other hand, was always ready whenever he wanted a warm body. He always used protection with her, but still, she got pregnant. If he didn't marry her, she threatened to leak this news to the media. He cannot ruin the Hamilton name like this. His uncle Leo Hamilton would kill him. He wanted to push Ida away without telling her about his affair with Claire. Now she will look like the one who cheated on him instead of the other way around. Claire gritted her teeth at his words. "Kevin, I am carrying your child. You better start worrying about me and the baby I am carrying. Stop thinking about Ida," she snapped angrily. Claire met Ida in one of the foster homes where they resided together. Ida is smart, beautiful, kind, and an honest person. Everyone always liked Ida better than they liked Claire. Ida overshadowed Claire everywhere. Ida's scores were better and she got a better job than Claire, and even Kevin Hamilton fell for Ida. But Claire decided that it was enough and wanted to snatch Kevin for herself. Kevin belongs to the famous and rich Hamilton family. The Hamiltons are influential and everyone knows who they are. Claire devised a plan to seduce Kevin. If he marries her, Claire will become the daughter-in-law of the Hamilton family. She can lead a luxurious life and doesn't need to worry about working anymore. Kevin became guilty. He knows what he did is wrong, but when it comes to his reputation or hers, he would choose his and tarnish hers. Fine, call her. Let's get this done with. I plan to announce Ida as my finance today, but I will announce your name instead. Reporters will come at 10 o'clock to the Hamilton residency, he said impatiently. Claire pulled her mobile out and dialed Ida's number. To their utter shock, the mobile began to ring from inside Ida's room. Both Claire and Kevin looked at each other with shock. Ida is not supposed to be back so soon. Claire rushed and opened Ida's door, only to find her standing on the other side. Ida? She whispered with shock. I left her inside that room myself. Then how did she come back so soon? She doesn't look like something happened last night. Did she hear our conversation just now? She panicked. Kevin became pale. Ida is in pain, but she didn't let it show on her face. She doesn't want to give these two vile people the satisfaction of seeing her being miserable. She hardened her features and looked straight at Kevin. She was not expecting this from him, but she should have known better. Once a player, always a player. I don't want to see your face again. You can go ahead and announce her as your fiancé. Get out, she snapped coldly. Kevin wanted to explain and beg her forgiveness, but he didn't dare. Swiftly he turned and left. Ida then looked at Claire. Kevin came into her life just a few years ago. But Claire was her best friend for 10 years. Ida wanted to know why she did this. Why? She asked coldly. Instead of asking for forgiveness, Claire smirked. I was jealous. You always got everything and I was left to catch up with you. And Kevin, he is like your golden ticket out of this middle-class life. I wanted it for myself, so I took it away from you, she agreed shamelessly. Ida shook her head, feeling repulsed to see her true character. She regretted not seeing her true colors from the beginning. Everything I got, I worked hard for it. When you went to a party with friends, I stayed back and studied hard. But you wouldn't understand it. All you ever saw is what I gained, but always ignored to see how hard I worked for it. If you studied hard, then you could have been in the same position as I am, instead of working as a waitress. This apartment is in my name, and I pay all of our bills. I am going out now. By the time I come back, I want you gone. With that, Ida closed her door on Claire's face. In the hotel room of a 7-star hotel, Leo Hamilton woke up to an empty bed. He raised his eyebrows with surprise. He never sleeps in the room he reserved for this purpose. He will fuck them and leave them within an hour or two. But last night he couldn't control himself. She was like a succubus, tempting him, teasing him, and testing his self-control. He likes to keep the room dark to avoid showing his face to his one-night stands. Seeing his face flashed in a newspaper and everyone reading about his personal life is not a good start to his day. He likes to keep his identity a secret with his bed partners, but he had to admit, he liked the girl from last night. Not once, but they were at it until after midnight. She was so responsive and the sounds she made were hot. He would like to take her once more, but she runs away even after finding out who he is. He is an early riser. That means she must have left before sunrise. Interesting, he murmured. His face is well known as the head of the famous and rich Hamilton family. He is the president of the Hamilton Group. They have businesses all over the world. He is a celebrity and is named as one of the richest men. He pushed the covers aside to get dressed and start his day. But he froze when he saw the blood stain on the sheets. He frowned with confusion until realization struck him. She was a virgin? He thought, amazed. The women one of his assistants, Mike, hires are beautiful socialites, wannabe models, and even small-time actresses who don't mind a good role in the bed with a hot guy. But none of them will be virgins. He doesn't remember when he took a virgin woman before. This woman is making me curious by the second, he thought. Quickly, he got dressed and walked out of the room with long, purposeful strides. Just like a good little assistant, Mike is standing outside the room. Good morning, boss. Mike greeted politely and started following after his boss. Mike, "Who is that girl from last night?" Leo inquired. She made him curious about her. Every detail he learned about her is surprising and interesting. Mike frowned with confusion. He didn't send anyone the previous night. This room was reserved because they had a meeting. Both companies wanted to keep the details of the deal a secret before they could announce it after everything was finalized. After the meeting, their guests left and his boss stayed behind. Mike is shocked to learn that his boss spent the night in this room in the first place. He never did that before. "Girl?" "Boss, I didn't send anyone last night," he agreed with confusion. Leo paused in his tracks. A frown marries his features. "You didn't send anyone? Then who was that girl?" he asked with interest. Mike is baffled. No one but their clients knew that Leo Hamilton would be there in that room. Then who is this girl about whom his boss is talking about? He is confused. "I will find out immediately," he promised and started tapping on his phone. Leo resumed walking. He went directly to his penthouse, which is on the top of that 7-star hotel, which also belongs to the Hamilton Group. He stays here and prefers to stay away from the Hamilton family residency. He quickly showered and dressed in a black 5-piece suit. After half an hour, when he walked out of his penthouse, Mike was ready with the video footage from last night. "Boss, we couldn't figure out who she is, but our security team sent us this video from last night." He showed a grainy video of 2 girls stepping out of an elevator. One of them looked wasted and stumbled a lot. Leo immediately recognized the girl from the previous night. Her hair is sticking to her face, but her body and the grace that she held even in that state are admirable. He remembered that she was drunk when she came inside his room. He doesn't tolerate drunkards, but she started kissing him the moment he touched her to send her out. Despite the taste of alcohol in her mouth, there is another sweet taste mingled with it. That made her unique and made it hard not to kiss her. As he watched the video, he saw their faces. Why does she look so familiar? He wondered. He couldn't see her face last night, but his hands remembered every inch of her body, and his mouth remembered how she tasted everywhere. The other girl pushed his one-night stand inside his room before closing the door. That's when he understood something. So my one-night stand did not come to my room willingly. This other girl set her up, he realized. That explains why she started stripping and complained about being hot. "Claire, open the door. I want to go home," his one-night stand said through the door. Her voice seeped through the doors and can be heard if you listen carefully in the video. He somehow missed this part last night. He was on a call when she came. By the time he finished his call, she was already standing in the middle of the room. He passed the iPad back to Mike, but his mind is fixed on his one-night stand. She is a beauty. She looked innocent, and he stole her purity. For some reason, he desired her even without knowing her completely. "President, Mr. Kevin Hamilton called to remind you about the press meeting that was arranged in the Hamilton family mansion. He is announcing his finances name today," Mike reminded him. Leo's jaw became hard with displeasure. Kevin is his late brother's only son. Leo and his elder brother are 18 years apart, while Leo is just 5 years older than Kevin, the good-for-nothing spoiled brat. Announcing his marriage is Kevin's way of showing how committed he is to Leo. But Leo doesn't have any plans to settle just yet. For him, marriage is an annoyance and relationships are messy. He wanted to avoid all of that at all costs. At the mention of Kevin's name, Leo immediately recollected who his one-night stand was. Ida? He thought with shock. The realization struck him like a ton of bricks. Ida is not only Kevin's girlfriend, but also his new assistant who is replacing Haley. The only good thing Kevin has ever done is find Ida. She is a sweet, hard-working, and smart girl. At times, Leo wondered how Kevin even managed to make her agree to date him. Kevin is selfish and not at all trustworthy, while Ida is kind and loyal. Does Kevin know that I slept with his girlfriend? I don't think so. If he does, then he wouldn't have agreed to announce her name as his future wife. He hates me with everything he has. He will not touch Ida if he learns that I took her innocence. Does she know that it's me whom she slept with last night? It's impossible not to. But still, she is hiding this from Kevin and agrees to stand beside him when he announces her as his fiancé. Haley informed me that Ida will start working today. So how is Kevin planning to announce her as his fiancé without her standing beside him? he thought to himself. Ida is a talented multitasker and an organized person. When Haley asked his opinion about Ida replacing her as his assistant, he agreed instantly. Unlike Kevin, Ida is a loyal employee. She proved her loyalty time and again. She had access to valuable information about the company, but never once did she share it with Kevin, who is her boyfriend, and who was ready to sell that information to his rivals. He did not just promote her to become his assistant. He tested her loyalty and credibility thoroughly for 2 years. When Haley initially mentioned her opinion about training Ida as her replacement. In the Hamilton group, Ida is following after her mentor and the President Hamilton's previous assistant, Haley Jensen. Ida is replacing Haley, who is in her late 50s. Working for Leo Hamilton is not an easy feat. He is very demanding and unforgiving. He wants things to be done with perfection and on time. He has his preferences in how he takes his food or drinks his coffee. Haley was like President Hamilton's personal assistant. She used to take care of his everyday schedule, food, and all of his personal stuff. President Hamilton has another assistant, Mike. He is in his late 30s and he mostly deals with scheduling meetings and appointments. "You look a little bit off today. Is there any problem that I can help you with, dear?" Haley asked Ida softly. Ida's perfect professional smile threatened to falter, but she regained her composure soon enough. "Mrs. Haley, I am fine. I am just a bit tense to face the president in a close proximity." Ida half lied. She is nervous to come face to face with the enigmatic and mysterious president of the Hamilton Group. Not many employees in the company saw their president directly. She didn't get a chance to see him, too. She is going to meet him for the first time today. Now that she will be working beside him daily, she is nervous. They all know that their president never entertains mistakes. He is a perfectionist and fired countless assistants before he appointed Haley. She clicked because she is hardworking and loyal. Haley has been grooming Ida as her replacement for over 6 months now. Ida now has the understanding of their president, which no one knows about. Her life took a U-turn overnight. Everything and everyone whom she trusted is a lie. She is crumbling from the inside, but she refused to let her professional life be threatened by her personal life. She worked hard to reach where she is now. If she allows Kevin and her ex-best friend to ruin this for her, then she will truly lose everything. "President Hamilton," Haley knocked on the door gently. That brought Ida back to the present. "Come in," a commanding voice rang from inside. For some odd reason, Ida felt like she heard that voice before. But she brushed off that thought as soon as it entered and quietly followed after her mentor. Leo was working on the final details of their current project when Haley came. The older woman was competent and the best assistant he ever had. She started working for him 5 years ago. "President Hamilton, as I mentioned earlier, I bought the woman who will replace me as your new assistant and work alongside Mike," Haley shared. Leo didn't lift his head from the file he was reading when Haley entered. He still didn't when she told him that his new assistant was here. He knows who she is, how she tastes, and how she moans when she comes. These are not the details he should be known before hiring an assistant. He has half a mind to fire Ida, but for some unexplainable reason, he couldn't. He knows he is inviting disturbances in the workplace, but that doesn't seem to be enough of a reason to fire Ida. "You know how I like everything. Show her everything properly before leaving," he instructed and turned to another page in the file he was reading. Haley is used to his attitude, so she turned to face Ida before speaking. "Dear, introduce yourself to our president before starting your work," she instructed. Ida nodded with a confident smile. She has yet to see her boss's face. "Good morning, President Hamilton. I am Ida Wilson. I will work hard and will not disappoint you," she spoke confidently. The moment he registered her voice, his head snapped up and his gaze collided with hers. Last night she looked like a hot succubus, but now she is looking professional and plain, exactly opposite to the woman he knows from last night. He searched her eyes to see if she recognized him. Sure enough, her eyes became wide with shock. He noticed how her arms shook and she caught hold of the chair in front of her for support. Her face turned as white as a sheet. Her breathing picked up and she looked uncomfortable. She looked like a deer caught in headlights. "She didn't know that I am her boss until now?" he wondered. He didn't like seeing her so flustered and scared. He knows that she was framed last night and she lost her virginity to a total stranger against her will. His protective instinct surged to life, shocking the hell out of him, but he stomped on it with ironclad boots. I want my assistant to be in the right frame of mind at all times. No partying or drinking during weekdays. Am I clear? He said, indirectly indicating about last night. His professional mask is back. Ida became stiff. The reminder of last night's disaster is like a very bad dream, and looking at him, sitting there in the flesh, feels like her nightmare came to life. His face is a blank mask. There is nothing on his face that is revealing to her that he recognized her from last night. If not for his comment about her partying and drinking from last night, she would have thought that he didn't recognize her. Is he talking about last night? Of course he is. Why? Out of so many men out there, I had to sleep with the one man with whom I shouldn't have. How did my life turn so drastic in one night? She thought, feeling distressed. When Ida is blankly looking at Leo, Haley becomes tense. She noticed her boss looking at Ida intently. She misunderstood the situation, thinking that he was waiting for Ida's reply. She understands President Hamilton. She doesn't have the habit of partying or drinking regularly. She is a very smart and sensible girl, she promised, trying to diffuse the situation. All right, he replied before occupying himself with work again. He released Ida from the cage of his intense gaze. Even half an hour later, Leo is still thinking about his night with his new assistant and most probably his nephew's ex. In this half an hour, she entered his office twice, once to bring him coffee, and the second time to handed him over some client details. Both times he noticed how her hands shook and how rigidly she was holding herself. She didn't meet his gaze both times. She ran away almost immediately after her task was done, much to his amusement. They are now on their way to the Hamilton mansion for the announcement. His new assistant is sitting beside him, but she made sure to leave ample space between them, much to his amusement. Last night she was not ready to let go of him. Now she was not ready to even touch him. Interesting, he thought. The more time he spends with her, the more interesting she turns out to be. The more she tried to run away from him, the more he wanted to pull her close. Ida's heart is pounding in her chest. The moment the huge looming mansion came into view, she couldn't believe her eyes. In the last 2 years of her failed relationship with Kevin, she visited this place twice. She recognized this place immediately. But never in her entire career did she imagine that Kevin Hamilton is related to her boss, Leo Hamilton. They share the same last name, but she never thought that they were related. And she never in her worst nightmares imaged to be trapped between these two Hamilton men. One who is her ex, and the other one, her boss and her one-night stand. As far as she knows, Kevin is an only child and his father is no more. She knows that his uncle is taking care of them. How would she know that his said uncle is this young, and let's not forget handsome? Even Kevin never mentioned it either. If Kevin is related to her boss, she does not understand why he is still searching for a job living with his mother and depending on her money for his expenses. After the betrayal from Kevin, this is the last place I wanted to step my foot in. I cannot face Kevin again. Not when he is announcing Claire as his fiancé, she thought, worrying her lower lip. She is so distracted that she doesn't notice that Leo is observing her keenly. Leo's eyes zeroed in on her lips. The images of her lips and how he devoured her mouth popped into his mind. His eyes turned heated and he could feel the tightness in his pants. He averted his gaze immediately. Damn it! Why is she affecting me this way? She was supposed to be Kevin's fiancé. But something must have happened between them. I only ever heard praises about this one from Haley, but I can see that something is not right here. Who was the other woman who pushed Ida inside my room? And who is this mysterious financier whom Kevin is going to announce today? He thought. Their car stopped in the driveway of the Hamilton mansion, which is constructed in European style. He eyed his assistant, who looked pale and froze in her seat. How long are you planning to sit here? He asked calmly. Her head snapped in his direction and she looked flustered and embarrassed. Immediately, she unfolded herself out of the car while he did the same. Reporters are milling around with their mics and cameras. A makeshift stage is arranged on the right side of the mansion, where Kevin will announce who his future wife is. "Uncle, we were waiting for you." Kevin, his nephew, rushed to escort Leo, but the moment he caught sight of Ida standing behind Leo, he froze with shock. He became pale and worried. He is scared to imagine his uncle's reaction if he finds out about his affair with Claire and how he cheated on Ida. Leo didn't miss Kevin's reaction. Why does Kevin look scared, he wondered. "Oh, it's Mr. Leo Hamilton. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I am Claire, Kevin's fiancé." Claire walked over to where they were standing and introduced herself proudly. But just like her so-called fiancé, she froze with shock when she saw Ida. What is she doing here? Is this how she is planning to take revenge on me? Did she say anything to Leo? If that happens, then Leo Hamilton will kick me out of here in a split second. I have to do something before she could ruin my plans. She became worried and decided to destroy Ida. Unlike Kevin, she didn't freeze. She plastered a fake smile on her face and gasped with shock. "Oh my, Ida, I thought you might not be able to make it today," she said with fake happiness and rushed to hug her. When Claire hugged her, Ida wanted to push her away. But she couldn't afford to make a scene in front of her boss on the very day of work. She pried herself away from the clutches of Claire and took a step back and away from her. "President Hamilton, this way, please." She ignored Claire and Kevin and escorted Leo in the direction of the press conference. Leo followed after her, ignoring Kevin and his fiancée. He recognized Claire from the video footage he saw that morning. She was the one who pushed Ida inside his room and locked it afterward. He understood what must have happened and suddenly why his nephew's fiancée changed. "This Claire is bad news. I cannot allow Kevin to marry her. She will ruin our family name. A woman who can leave her friend inside the room of a stranger cannot be trusted." He decided to break this marriage. "Ms. Wilson," he stopped Ida. She stopped walking and turned to face her boss. This is the first time he addressed her directly. His intense gaze was upon her, and she tried hard not to squirm. "Sir?" She looked at him, trying to look calm and composed. The images from last night flashed inside her mind, making her face go red. Leo gave her a knowing look. He can understand what she is thinking, because he is thinking the same. He ignored his need for her and concentrated on the matter at hand. "I want to speak with my nephew and his new fiancée. Inform them to meet me in my office." With that said, he turned and disappeared inside the mansion. Speaking with Kevin and Claire was the last thing she wanted to do, but at the same time, she cannot ignore his direct command. So she reluctantly walked towards the duo, who were glaring daggers at her. "President Hamilton wishes to speak with you both. He is waiting for you in his office." She spoke monotonously and rushed to follow after her boss. Claire wanted to kill Ida, but she cannot. There are so many reporters around, just a small mistake would cost her everything she has ever worked for. On the other hand, Kevin is scared. Did my uncle find out about what happened? He feared the wrath of Leo Hamilton. He walked inside the mansion with dread. Kevin cursed himself for having an affair with Claire. If he could have shown some restraint, then this wouldn't have happened, and he wouldn't have to face this today. On the other hand, as the heir of the Hamilton family, Leo had to take up that responsibility at a very young age. He is forced to be stern with his family members to keep them in line. Everyone in the family fears him. He always prided himself that he never made any mistakes until now. His irresponsible and very tempting mistake is walking inside his office with her eyes downcast. She intentionally left the door open. "Looks like you are scared to be in the same room with me," he drawled casually. Her head snapped in his direction, and her eyes became wide with fear and distress. She wanted to quit this job the moment she recognized who he was, but she worked hard to reach where she is now. She only ever heard good things about her new boss. He is said to be a workaholic and a good boss. She knows it's impossible to find a job like this again in this lifetime. Moreover, she has her student loans to pay, and almost half of her salary will go to that. Her bills and expenses are another thing. She is worried that he might misunderstand her as a gold digger. But she is not. I, she stuttered, unable to utter a single word. But he looked at her misery. Leo watched her misery with amusement. It's not like that, President Hamilton, she replied with difficulty. He raised an amused eyebrow. Is it? Then why did you leave the door open? He inquired. Ida looked at the open door with a frown. She intentionally left it open. He is right. She is now scared of being in the same room with him. She doesn't remember everything that happened between them the previous night, but the soreness between his legs is telling it all. He left marks all over her body that will take a few days to heal completely. Her cheeks turned pink at the remainder of what happened between them. She prayed that he wouldn't notice how much he was affecting her. He didn't miss the blush, and he found it cute. She is cute, smart, and interesting. He liked that combination very much. A rare but alluring combination. She is saved from replying to his question when Claire and Kevin walk inside the room. Her face turned bitter, and she made it a point to ignore them. Leo didn't miss how Claire was glaring at Ida and Kevin was looking at her with longing. For some reason, Leo didn't like Kevin's eyes on Ida, so he stood up from his chair and approached his nephew. Cleverly, he stood at such an angle that Ida was blocked from their view. Ida didn't miss what he was doing. She did not understand if he did it intentionally or not, but she was still grateful for the small reprieve. "Uncle, do you want to talk to us about something?" Kevin asked. Leo's face is blank, not revealing anything. "She is not the woman whom you were dating for the last 2 years. Where is your ex now, and why is this woman replacing her?" he asked calmly. Ida became stiff. She doesn't know how much he knows, but she has this feeling that her new boss might know more than he is letting out. She is worried that he might also know that she is his nephew's ex. If that's the case, she is worried what he must be thinking about her, especially after last night. Kevin is scared, while Claire is worried. Both of them exchanged worried glances. Leo is blocking their view. If not, Claire would have glared daggers at Ida. She cheated on Kevin. He caught her in bed with someone a few months ago. Kevin is so good that he blindly trusts her, but she misused his trust and slept around. Claire lied through her teeth. Ida is pained by the allegation. Her initial shock wore off from the moment she discovered that Kevin was cheating on her with Claire, but her pain refused to leave. She never thought Claire would do something like this. Her betrayal cuts deeper than Kevin's cheating. Strangely, she is not at all pained with what he did. It's as if their relationship is not as deep as she thought it was. She was forced and begged into a relationship with him by Kevin. She said yes, only because she didn't want him to disturb her more than he was already doing. She is also worried that Leo Hamilton might believe all these lies. After all, she slept with him. She cannot tell him that he is her first in everything. She never ever kissed Kevin, apart from his platonic kisses on her cheek. Leo raised his eyebrow after listening to the false allegations of Claire. He knows Claire is lying because he saw the video footage, and he knows for a fact that Ida was a virgin until last night. He became angry at the blatant lie. But his face is a blank mask, making Claire anxious and worried, and keeping her guessing about what he is thinking. Kevin, on the other hand, looked guilty. "Is it? When did you find out about it?" he asked casually. But there is nothing casual about his question. He is forcing Claire to dig her own grave. Kevin refused to speak and looked at Claire to continue. "Ah, it was a few months ago." Claire lied again. Leo nodded. His palms are buried in his pockets while he is looking at Claire and Kevin with a calculating look. Ida is trying to keep her emotions buried, but listening to Claire's lies is hurting more than she could control, and the fear of how her boss would take all of this is scaring her the most. So you both started dating after he broke up with his girlfriend of 2 years?" he asked evenly. Claire moved closer to Kevin and nodded shyly. Leo nodded thoughtfully. "Kevin, how did you decide that she is it? If your girlfriend of 2 years can cheat on you, this one can too. You are not a good judge of character. What are you planning to do if you find out that she is not the one? You've only known her for a few months after all?" Leo asked, blatantly insulting Claire. Ida misunderstood his words. She starts thinking that Leo thinks that her character is bad, which makes her miserable and helpless. She is stuck in a situation where she cannot make her boss believe that she is not someone who sleeps around with random men. He will never believe her after the last night. Claire gasped at his implication. She started worrying that he might not approve of her. "Forgive me, Mr. Hamilton, but I am not a loose woman like his ex. I am dedicated to Kevin and loyal to him. I am carrying his baby after all. What more proof do you want that would show how much I love him?" she asked, feigning distress. Kevin patted her hand softly. Ida wanted to yell at her and tell her how shameless she is, but she bit her cheek and suppressed her tears. Her eyes burned with suppressed emotions. Leo's jaw became hard. He understood why Kevin was marrying this viper. Now he cannot refuse this marriage, as this lady is carrying the child of the Hamilton family. "I see, you can go now. I will join you shortly," he said, before turning his back on both of them. He fisted his palm and gritted his teeth with anger. He doesn't approve of Claire as the daughter-in-law of the Hamilton family, but she trapped Kevin, and even he cannot help his nephew now. Claire smiled with triumph. While Kevin kept looking at Ida with longing, Claire pulled him out of the room, and he followed after her reluctantly. She closed the door after them. Leo is fuming. He understood why Kevin agreed to marry Claire and why Ida was framed and pushed out of Kevin's life. He was cheating on Ida, and he made it look like the other way around. Ida is innocent in this scenario, but they are making it look like she is the bad guy. He doesn't want Kevin to announce Claire as his fiancé. She is not fit to become his wife. A woman who is so cunning cannot become a good wife and daughter-in-law. She is a gold digger and trapped Kevin for his money. Like an idiot, he fell for it, he thought with anger. On the other hand, Ida is tense. The anger radiating from Leo is scaring her. She is worried that he is angry with her. He believed the lies Claire just made up. Will he fire me from my job? If he does, then where will I find a good job again so soon? I wasted all my savings on Claire for her stupid startup business, which was a waste of money. I have to tell him that Claire is lying and hope he will believe me, she thought with panic. "President Hamilton, she was lying. I am not a cheater. Please don't fire me." She started explaining what happened that night and how she ended up in his bed. Miss Wilson, Ida?" He wanted her to stop. Leo already understood everything. He is not going to fire her, but she doesn't know that, so she kept begging him and giving him explanations when she didn't have to. Her pink lips and the way she was talking caught his attention. He is listening to what she is telling him, but he is watching her lips move and how she is moving closer to him unintentionally. When she was just feet away from him, he pulled her closer by holding her waist and placed his index finger over her lips. A gasp left her lips, and she stopped talking. He noticed how her breathing picked up and how her eyes became wide with shock. They are so close that every inch of their upper half is in contact with each other. He is loving the feel of her in his arms. "Did I tell you that I am going to fire you?" he asked her calmly. She shook her head. "Did I blame you for anything?" he asked again. She shook her head again. "Then why are you explaining?" he inquired curiously. She wanted to tell him that she didn't want to lose her job, but his finger was tracing her lower lip, distracting her. "Tell me, Ida, why are you explaining?" "I know you were a virgin, and I am the only man who touched you. I saw the bloodstains on the sheets. Whatever your ex-best friend said is a lie. I understood Kevin cheated on you and they framed you instead. When you are not wrong, you don't have to explain anything to anyone, not even me." "Is it clear?" he asked softly. After being betrayed by the people she trusted, these soft but comforting words spoken by a man who was said to be cold and almost a stranger to her felt good. It soothed her aching heart. The fact that someone trusted her is a relief. She nodded her head again. This time her gaze is soft and not in despair. Reluctantly, he let her go and took a step back and away from her. She is testing his self-control. The feel of her in his arms is tempting. He wanted to kiss those soft pink lips again, but he restrained himself from doing so. She is the only female who is having this kind of effect on him, and it bothers him. "Now go outside and inform Mark that the announcement is canceled and we are rescheduling it to some other day. He will deal with the rest," he instructed her. There is no way he will allow Claire to marry Kevin. Ida is dumbstruck to hear this. She looked at him with shock. He snapped his fingers in front of her face. That pulled her out of her trance. "Yes, President Hamilton," she rushed out with embarrassment. She found Mark outside. He was on the phone with someone. "Yes, the lunch meeting is scheduled in an hour." All right, he disconnected the call. Mark, boss wanted you to cancel this announcement, she informed him. Mark raised his eyebrows with shock. What? Why? He inquired curiously. Ida can guess why, but she didn't disclose anything. How would I know? She lied. Mark nodded his head thoughtfully. Right, how would you know? I have been working for our boss for 3 years now. I couldn't understand why he did certain things. You just started today, he said before walking away to cancel the meeting. On the other hand, in the same mansion, Grace Hamilton is standing in front of a window on the first floor and watching the reporters packing their stuff and leaving one by one. She is in her late 60s and has a head full of gray hair. Her skin is wrinkled, but despite her age, she is looking regal and graceful. She is Leo Hamilton's mother. Kevin is her grandson. She was blessed with Leo when she was in her 40s. By that time, her elder son was in college. Leo was a surprise baby whom she loved the most. She is dying to see him find a nice girl and settle in his life, but he refused to date or pick anyone. When her grandson introduced Claire as his fiancé today, she instantly disliked her. She knows Leo will not allow Kevin to announce her as the daughter-in-law of the Hamilton family and make a fool of himself. And her younger son didn't disappoint her. That's when she saw the girl, the same girl who saved her a year ago. Grace went for a walk one fine morning. Halfway through, she started feeling dizzy and fainted. That's when this girl came and rushed her to a nearby hospital. The doctors diagnosed that she had a heart stroke, and if not for the girl, she would have lost her life that day. Leo went on a business trip that day, and Grace couldn't ask for the girl's phone number or details then. But now, looking at the same girl speaking with Mark, who is Leo's assistant, she felt really happy. She rushed out of her room in a hurry to meet the girl and thank her properly for what she did. Leo wanted to meet his mom before leaving the mansion. When he walked out of his office, he saw his elderly mother almost running outside the mansion in a hurry. Mom, he called her, but she was in a world of her own. She didn't seem to hear him. She rushed out. Quickly, he followed after her to see why she was in a rush. He stopped in his tracks when his mother touched Ida's cheek tenderly. And what surprised him the most was the smile on Ida's face. Both the ladies are happy to see each other. Mom know who Ida is? Did Kevin introduce her as his girlfriend? He wondered. The thought of Ida and Kevin together left a bad taste in his mouth. He approached them casually. He is curious. I am so glad you're doing well now, Ida was saying. Grace smiled fondly. And I should thank you for that. If not for you, I wouldn't have been breathing today, she told the fact. Leo frowned. He didn't understand why his mother was speaking like this. Mom, you know my new assistant? He asked casually. Grace turned to face her son with a big smile. He is taken aback to see the happiness radiating in her eyes. His curiosity spiked. Leo, I told you about a girl who saved me once, remember? She asked her son. Leo nodded his head. He remembered it. He searched for her to thank her, but no one knew who she was and where she came from. She came like an angel and saved his mother's life and just disappeared. She is the one. I got a chance to meet her and thank her properly this time. I was worried that I might never be able to meet her again. Grace shared with happiness. Leo is taken aback to learn that it's Ida who saved his mother's life. He loves his mother very much, and she is the only woman in his life who is important to him. And Ida saved that person. His opinion about his new assistant changed again. He understood that Ida was a kind-hearted person too. His gaze was soft when it landed on Ida, who looked embarrassed. He should thank her and even give her an expensive gift for her help. But he knows that it's not enough. He is forever indebted to her. Instead of thanking her and making Ida even more uncomfortable, he turned to face his mother. That is the reason why I always tell you not to go anywhere alone. But you never listen, he reprimanded his mother with care and concern. Grace grinned sheepishly. Her happiness is radiating her entire face. That's when Mark approached his boss. Boss, you have a lunch meeting in another 40 minutes, he reminded Leo. Leo kissed his mother's cheek. See you, Mom. Take care. With that, he turned around and left. Ida gave the elderly lady a warm smile before running after her boss. Grace saw Ida stumbling while catching to catch up with Leo, and how her younger son caught her elbow to stop her from falling. They look so good together. I wish my Leo would marry this sweet girl, she wished. On the other hand, Claire is not happy. She is fuming. She is in Kevin's room in the Hamilton mansion. "Why don't you ask your uncle about why he canceled the announcement today?" she demanded angrily. Kevin is calm and is playing a game on his mobile. He is relieved that his uncle canceled the press announcement today. His heart is still with Ida, and he doesn't want to marry Claire. But Claire is pregnant with his baby, and he is not understanding how to get rid of her and the baby. "If I get rid of the baby, I can easily get rid of Claire. Then I will beg Ida to take me back. I will pester her until she agrees to marry me again," he decided. "Are you crazy? My uncle will kill me if I question his decision." He told the truth. He doesn't dare to question Leo Hamilton, ever. Claire is not pleased with his reply and his careless attitude. "Kevin, if you think you can get rid of me and go back to Ida, then you are wrong. I recorded our conversations and my pregnancy test reports saying that you are the father. If you don't marry me soon, then I will make those recordings and test reports public. I am sure your uncle wouldn't like it," she threatened him. He became pale. He ignored the game he was playing and gave her his full attention. "Claire, what is wrong with you? Why are you speaking like this?" he demanded, as if he was not thinking exactly what she pointed out. Claire composed herself. "Baby, we cannot hide my pregnancy for a longer time. Once my stomach starts showing, people will ask questions. Then things will become messy. We don't want that, do we? That is why I am forcing you to hurry." She lied. He frowned with tension. What she said is true. They cannot hide her pregnancy for long. "Baby, don't worry. I will speak with my mom. She can speak with my uncle on our behalf. You don't stress yourself too much. I think you should go home and relax now," he suggested. He is anxious to get rid of her. Claire nodded, agreeing with his suggestion. She found what he said to be reasonable. "All right, see you tomorrow." With that said, she left the Hamilton mansion. "You are a natural, Mr. Hamilton." One of the clients, Matthew Roderick, praised Leo. "He is the CEO of one of the most prestigious companies in the world. They have been supplying raw materials to the Hamilton Group for a few years now. Today they met to finalize the details of their new project." Matthew is in his late 50s. He lost his wife and son to an accident 15 years ago. From then on, he was single and buried himself with work. He never looked at any other woman until recently. They are playing golf in a popular golf club where the membership is offered only to a limited number of clients who are the richest in the city. Leo Hamilton was one of the very few men who was invited to join this club as a member. Most of the people had to apply for the membership. This meeting was lunch only. But Matthew requested Leo for a golf match, to which the latter agreed. Leo and Matthew swung their golf clubs, and Leo's ball reached near the hole, hence the praise. Ida offered a napkin and some water to Leo. Matthew eyed her curiously. "Is she a new assistant?" he asked casually. He noticed something different between the young CEO of the Hamilton Group and his new assistant. They are in sync. She knows what he needs at what time before he can even open his mouth and ask for it. No one would think that she just started working for him. What amazed him the most was how comfortable Leo Hamilton was with this lady. There is a spark between them. Unlike Haley, who is a good employee but their work was professional. But something is different between these two. Matthew met Haley a couple of times. He likes that woman dearly. He tried to pursue her more than once, but she brushed him off. Leo hid his smile. He knows how much Matthew likes Haley. "Yes," Haley retired. "You can try your luck now. You can drop the formalities now," he suggested with mirth. Matthew insisted on calling Leo with his last name when they were in the middle of business meetings. Matthew is not only Leo's business partner, but he is also a good friend to his late father. Despite the age difference between Leo's father and Matthew, both men used to like each other a lot. Business with Matthew did not end after the demise of the late senior Hamilton. Leo's brother continued it, and now Leo. Matthew blushed, but turned his face away to hide how flustered he was. Ida is pleasantly surprised to see the rapport between her boss and the older gentleman. Her boss is relaxed and is enjoying the game with his golf partner. She understood that Matthew was more than a business partner. "Why don't you tell your former employee to take pity on me now? I have been trying my luck for more than a year now, but that woman is as stubborn as a mule," he muttered. Leo chuckled with mirth, while Mike hid his smile. Even Mike is aware of Matthew's crush. Both the men bantered while playing. Ida and Mike did their duty. After 40 minutes, a young man came to where the men were playing. "Boss, these are the papers you requested for." He handed over a file to Matthew, who looked embarrassed. He happened to misplace the file he is supposed to discuss about and brought another file. That is why he asked Leo to play a game until his assistant could bring him the file of their current project. "Thank you, Sean," Matthew thanked his assistant. Leo smirked. "You are losing it, old man." He teased Matthew. Matthew rolled his eyes with a smile. "It's just a file. Everyone forgets things," he defended himself. Leo chuckled. Both the men abandoned their golf sticks and boarded their golf carts. After half an hour, in a separate cabin in the club restaurant. No, the other one. Ida stopped a waitress when she was serving a certain dish to Leo. The young waitress switched the dishes while Leo raised one of his eyebrows, questioning why she stopped the waitress from serving him the other dish. Ida leaned closer to him so that no one could hear her. Information like this can be misused at times, so she is just being careful. "Oyster sauce is used in that dish," she whispered softly. She learned from Haley that Leo is allergic to anything oyster. Oysters, or it's the sauce, if he eats it, his body will develop rashes all over. Leo gave her a nod of approval before continuing with his meeting with Matthew. They finalized the details of the project and agreed upon certain changes. "All right, that should be it," they concluded the meeting. Ida and Mike noted down the important points during the meeting. Ida didn't eat much. She is not at all feeling hungry. Even though she is being a very attentive assistant, her heart is still aching with the pain of the betrayal of Kevin and Claire. "Excuse me." She excused herself to the bathroom when Leo and Matthew started chatting on general topics. Sean, the young assistant of Matthew, had his eyes on Ida from the moment he came with the forgotten file. His attention is more on her rather than the meeting. After she left, quietly he followed after her. Ida is beautiful and young, so he decided to pursue her. Ida splashed some water on her face. She clutched the sink in a tight grip. She is hurting. Her pain is still new and raw. 24 hours ago, she didn't know that her life was going to take a turn for the worse. All her dreams of a happy life with Kevin are shattered by his betrayal. She never thought that Claire was hiding so much jealousy and bitterness towards her. Two people whom she trusted dearly slapped her so hard that she is now left picking up pieces of her life from scratch. She took a deep breath and willed her tears to not fall. She quickly composed herself and left the washroom. She doesn't want to keep her boss waiting. Hurriedly, she walked towards their cabin, only to come to an abrupt stop when someone called her name. "Miss Wilson." Sean stopped Ida when she walked past him. "Hey," he greeted her with a small smile. Ida gave him a forced smile in return. "I am sorry. Looks like I kept you all waiting. Let's go." She misunderstood his intentions. He shook his head to clear the misunderstanding. No, nothing like that. Our bosses are still talking. I wanted to talk to you personally about something. So I was waiting for you here," he explained. Ida froze. Something in the way he is carrying himself is making her remember Kevin. He too was waiting outside her classroom one day, just like this. That was the first of many. She pushed those thoughts away and gave Sean a professional smile. "Oh?" she prompted him to continue. She wanted to get out there as soon as she could, but she can't ignore him. She is going to meet him in the future too, and she doesn't want to make those encounters awkward for both of them. Sean looked down at his phone before looking at her again. "See, I like you. You are beautiful, attentive, and really smart. I want to take you on a date," he confessed boldly, which made her take a step back and away from him. This interaction is too familiar to her first encounter with Kevin. She refused, and he pursued her relentlessly until she gave in and started trusting him. Her face became pale, and she wanted to scream at the top of her lungs. Not again. Not ever. She is not ready to trust anyone again, and not a man who is almost a stranger. She is done with relationships. "I am sorry, Sean. I am not interested." She whispered and pushed her bubbling emotions down with an iron will. She turned away from him and hurriedly left the empty corridor. Sean, on the other hand, is shocked by her blatant rejection. He was expecting her to blush and act coy and hard to get, but instead she looked at him as if she were looking at a ghost. He touched his face self-cautiously. He is not that bad to look at. On the other hand, in the private cabin of the restaurant, "All right, see you soon," Leo told his companion, and both the men stood up to their feet and shook hands with each other. "Goodbye," Matthew replied. Just then, Ida walked inside, closely followed by Sean. Both Leo and Matthew noticed their arrival. Leo especially remembered that they both left at the same time, too. He didn't say anything about it, but he fisted his palm with anger. He didn't like the thought of Ida with Matthew's assistant. Wordlessly, he walked out, closely followed by Mike and Ida. In the Hamilton Company building, a sleek, black, high-end limited edition car came to a stop in front of the entrance. Mike and Ida got out of the vehicle. Mike opened the car door for Leo, while Ida carried his files. Leo walked inside with a cold and emotionless face. Everyone moved out of his way. Not a single soul dared to come in their boss's way. The private elevator is already waiting for Leo. Mike and Ida followed after him. When the elevator reached the 34th floor, Leo walked out first. His strides are long and a bit angry. Mike had something to take care of for the boss, so he left immediately. While Ida followed after her boss, Leo entered his office and sat behind his desk. He is following Ida's every move with his gaze. She placed his files neatly on his desk before she turned to her right and approached the small section where a sleek black coffee machine was placed, along with a few black mugs. She filled one of the cups with a steaming cup of coffee, which was already brewed, thanks to the timer technology it had. She brought the cup back to his desk and neatly placed it a little to his right side. Mindful to keep the cup away from the important files, she turned to leave, but he stopped her. "Are you interested in Matthew's assistant?" The words spilled out before he could stop them. He is not understanding why he is so bothered about her personal life. She is his assistant, and so far she is good in her work. That's all it should matter to him. But no, he is also interested in whom she is dating, which is a shocker to him. He was not like this. Ida slowly turned to face her boss. His question took her off guard. She was not expecting him to ask such a question, but their interaction is not like other boss and employee interactions, even from the beginning. "I am sorry, but I don't understand why you are asking that, President Hamilton," she asked with confusion. Leo decided to jump inside the hole he just dug for himself. "I happened to notice that you disappeared with Sean for a few minutes in the restaurant. I think you read your contract and know that you should not date people whom I work with," he reminded her. She froze with shock. Slowly, she understood what he meant. It might be her emotional turmoil, or the betray from the two close people in her life. His question broke the lid she was trying to keep on her emotions. She froze with shock. Slowly, she understood what he meant. It might be her emotional turmoil or the betrayal of the two close people in her life. His question broke the lid she was trying to keep on her emotions. Slowly, she approached his desk and flattened her palms on the desk before leaning down towards him. To an onlooker, it looks like she is trying to flirt with him, but only he can see the storm brewing in her gray eyes. She is killing him with one look. And he is feeling like an asshole for even asking her about Sean. For some reason, he trusts her. He knows she is not like that, but still, he allowed his conflicting feelings to get the better of him. Ida's heart is feeling battered and bruised. His words of comfort and his trust, which he showed back in Hamilton Mansion, gave her heart some solace. It felt like a salve, a comfort blanket. But now his question is feeling like a stab. Her eyes pooled with unshed tears. Her breathing became choppy and her lower lip wobbled. "I know I slept with you last night when I was still in a relationship with your nephew. I know I cheated on Kevin, but that's not my character. I am not the kind of person who sleeps around." Her words were cut short when he leaned closer to her and placed a finger on her lips, silencing her. She froze as his warm finger firmly pressed against her parted lips. "That's not what I meant. You are my assistant. Mine." He stressed the words my and mine. She is silently staring at him, still leaning down on his desk in a daze. Now she is feeling something else entirely. "Everything you do or you don't when you are out in public will have a direct effect on my image, on our company as well. Whatever we do outside this building is our personal matter. Like I already told you once, you don't have to explain our stuff to anyone. I didn't mean to insult you. I know you have been through a lot. You can go home for today. Cry as much as you want. Scream, yell, or even punch your pillows to vent out your anger or frustration, he said in his deep tone. His finger moved from her lips and traveled towards her eyes, caressing her cheek on the way. He captured her tear with his thumb, which was stuck to her thick, black eyelashes. When you come back tomorrow morning, I don't want to see these. Am I clear? He said. His voice turned husky. Her cheeks are pink and her heart is pounding violently. His touch, his voice, everything is wreaking havoc inside her mind and body. She nodded mutely, unable to form any coherent words. He removed his hand away from her face. She peeled herself away from the desk and left in a daze. After Ida left his cabin, Leo lifted his right hand with which he touched her face. His hand is tingling. What the hell is wrong with me? Why did I touch her like that? She is my employee. Her emotions and her personal issues should not affect me this much. But still, I have swept away in the storm of her gaze. This is insane, he thought with a frown. After an hour, when Ida walked inside her apartment, she was shocked to find Claire sitting on the couch in the living area. What are you still doing here? I told you to leave, right? Get out of my house. Ida snapped with anger. The image of Claire hugging and kissing Kevin flashed in her mind, and their betrayal felt like a sharp knife stabbing at her heart. Claire slowly stood up to her feet while glaring daggers at Ida. She made her way towards the latter, who was still standing near the entrance of her apartment. You think you are smart, right? You always think that I am beneath you. You couldn't bear to see it for once that I am going to marry a rich man. You couldn't be happy for me. That is why you did something to cancel that announcement today. What did you do? What did you tell Mr. Leo Hamilton that he decided to cancel our wedding announcement? Claire demanded furiously. Ida is finding it difficult to identify the person standing in front of her. The Claire she knew from her teenage years was very caring and never used to speak to her like this. But the person standing in front of her is a bitch who snatched Ida's boyfriend and is shamelessly blaming Ida for her ruined announcement. You mean the man whom you snatched from me? You were going to marry the man who was after me for 2 years before I accepted his proposal. Did he pursue you like he pursued me? No, right? You seduced him and slept with him behind my back. And you dare to declare that I am the jealous one here? What a sick joke. Ida sneered with bitterness. When Ida pointed out the truth, Claire couldn't take it. What Ida said is true. Kevin never pursued her or even gave her the time of the day. He only ever wanted to please and impress Ida. Claire is sure that he still has feelings for Ida, a fact that made Claire very angry. You bitch! Claire slapped Ida across her face, making the latter stumble a little before she righted herself. Ida was not expecting the slap, so it came out as a shock to her. The slap was so hard that Ida's soft skin turned an angry red and the corner of her lip started bleeding. This is not over, Ida. You cannot stop me from becoming the daughter-in-law of the Hamilton family. You made a huge mistake today. I will make you pay for this. Claire threatened angrily and stormed out of the apartment. Ida stood there, holding her bruised cheek with shock. She never expected Claire to stoop down to physical violence. Her eyes blurred with tears. This is the same girl whom she has known half her life. They were together through thick and thin. Ida used to share everything with Claire. They used to be like sisters more than friends. How did I not recognize her earlier? Was I so blind? I couldn't recognize Kevin for the soul that he is, and I failed to look past the caring act of Claire. She thought with a heavy heart. She collapsed on the floor near the entrance and cried her heart out. She cried for the people she thought she had, and she cried about the fact that she is all alone now. No friends, no relatives, and no one to care for her. She felt like a real orphan at that moment. The next morning, Ida woke up feeling tired. She couldn't fall asleep the previous night. She couldn't forget the slap on her cheek or the slap on her life. She could never forget or forgive what Claire did. She might even forgive Kevin sometime in the future. Maybe 5 or 10 years down the line. But Claire used to be her best friend, and she was like Ida's family. Her betrayal hurts the most. Ida got up and freshened up on autopilot. She quickly got dressed and pulled her hair into a tight bun. She is not much into makeup, but one look at her left cheek made her wince. Her cheek is not as swollen as it was last night, but now it's not as swollen, but still red and tender. One side of her mouth is also a bit red and swollen. When Claire slapped her yesterday, her lower lip was split and started bleeding. Now that the bleeding has stopped, it's still an angry red and swollen. Everyone can see this. Today she is forced to apply makeup to hide the abuse from Claire. In the Hamilton building, Ida is walking towards the elevator while adjusting the files she is holding. "Wow, hey gorgeous," someone greeted her. She is startled by the compliment and looks at the man who is looking at her with an admiring gaze. In the last 2 years she has been working in the Hamilton group. She only ever interacted with just a few people. The man who just complimented her looked vaguely familiar, but she never spoke with him. "Hey," she greeted back awkwardly. That's when she started noticing that she had almost all the attention of the men in the company lobby. She started feeling self-conscious. She touched her cheek, trying to cover it. She never attracted this much attention in the past years. "Hey." "Hi." "Morning." In 2 minutes that she waited for the elevator, more people greeted her. And all of them were men. She was always a wallflower and never liked this much attention on herself. She is shuffling on her feet awkwardly and trying to avoid eye contact with the men around her who are trying to talk to her. She was so flustered and preoccupied that she didn't notice Leo, who was walking towards the elevators. The moment Leo stepped inside the company building, he noticed the change. Almost everyone is looking at a person who is standing and waiting for the elevator. Her head was down and she looked uncomfortable. She is wearing a red blouse and paired it with a black pencil skirt that touched her knees. Her slender figure is on display. He knows who she is without looking at her face. He can recognize that body anywhere. As he walked closer, he noticed why everyone was looking at her with interest and curiosity. Today his new assistant is wearing makeup. Her lips are tinted red, and her long lashes are coated with mascara. Her makeup is neat and to the point. Ida is a natural beauty, but with makeup she can be compared to the top models out there, and her figure will complement her face. She is standing there stiffly as if she is feeling uncomfortable. Strange, if she doesn't want to attract attention, then why did she even take the trouble to get ready like a pretty doll? He wondered. "Ida?" Mike called her to gain her attention. Her head snapped up so suddenly that she might have given herself a whiplash. Her wide gray eyes first landed on Mike before she turned to look at her boss. "Gee, good morning, President Hamilton." She greeted him and quickly followed after Leo into the private elevator. The three of them got down on the 34th floor. Leo disappeared inside his office, while Mark and Ida sorted out Leo's morning schedule. "Not bad, Miss Wilson. You are looking hot today? Planning to go on a date?" Mark teased Ida. Ida looked at him with embarrassment. She didn't apply makeup to impress anyone. In fact, she wants everyone to leave her alone and let her do her work. But she couldn't possibly tell that to Mark, who is a sweet guy. "Nothing like that, Mark. I will give this schedule to the boss." She made her escape while he left with a smile to set the meeting room for the first meeting of the day. Inside the boss's office, Leo was checking his emails when Ida came inside with his schedule. So far, he is the only one who didn't give her the weird stare like the rest. She relaxed her shoulders, thinking that he was busy with his work and would not bother to look at her. "Boss, you have a meeting in half an hour. Mr. Matthews sent the signed contract. This is the file. The details of the meeting are highlighted in this file," she said, knowing fully well that he was listening even though he was not responding. She left the files on his desk and quickly started the coffee machine. While the coffee was brewing, she placed a bottle of water on his desk and replaced his pens with new ones. And then she filled the cup with steaming hot coffee and placed it in front of him, slightly to the right, away from all the files. Just when she was about to leave, he stopped her. "Ida, bring me the details of the Nelson project," he ordered her, and lifted his head and took a good look at her face for the first time since she walked inside his office. Unlike everyone, her beauty is not the first thing he notices about her face. It's the slight swelling of her left cheek and the swelling on the left side of her lower lip. He kissed those lips several times 2 days ago. and he also touched those same lips 24 hours ago. He knows that her lower lip is plump, but not like this. "What happened?" he asked with an angry frown. He doesn't have to be a scientist to know that someone slapped her. Ida frowned with confusion. No one noticed her cheek over the makeup, so it did not immediately strike her that he was speaking about that. "Boss?" she asked with confusion. His anger is making her feel unsettled. Leo's jaw became tight. He stood up from his chair and rounded his desk and walked to where she was standing. He tapped her cheek and traced the area where it was swollen. "Who did this?" he demanded. "Who did this?" he demanded. Ida is both amazed and shocked. She was not expecting anyone to see past her makeup. Everyone saw how she looked, and a few of them even complimented her. But no one knows that she doesn't like attracting attention to herself. She'd rather remain as a wallflower than become popular. She wanted to just work and wanted to be left alone. But still, she is forced to apply makeup and doll herself up today. Beauty is deceiving. Put on an expensive dress and cake your face with makeup, and done. No one will bother to look past that mask. These are the words Kevin once told her when she expressed her apprehension of accompanying him to a party, and his idea worked too. No one bothered to look past her forced smile and the mask she wore. But she knows differently. She knows that beauty is only skin deep. A person who can look past that mask named beauty can never be bad. He is perceptive. "Ida." Leo cupped her cheeks with his fingers and gently pulled her face up so that she was looking directly at him. His tone and her name dripped from his lips like honey, pulling her out of her head. He is looking at her with an angry look, demanding her to answer. Her gaze clashed with his dark brown eyes. He feels like he is trying to look inside her soul, searching for an answer. Her heart started beating fast. Claire already is thinking that I am the person who ruined her marriage with Kevin. Even though she is being a bitch, she is pregnant with Kevin's child. She might deserve punishment, but her baby is innocent. She will become the daughter-in-law of the Hamilton family sooner rather than later. If I tell Mr. Hamilton that it's her who did this to me, that will create unnecessary tension between them. I am an outsider. They are going to be a family soon. It's better to keep this to myself and stay away from their family, she decided. Nothing. I decided to apply some makeup today. She tried to evade his question and pulled her face away from his grasp. She avoided looking into his eyes while she was lying. Leo, on the other hand, is not buying her lies. When she turned halfway to leave, he grabbed her elbow and pulled her towards him roughly. For some unknown reason, he is feeling angry. He is angry that someone dared to abuse Ida. In his mind, she is the woman who saved his mother and a woman who is good by heart. The least he can do is take care of her. He is telling himself that it is what he is doing now. Ida gasped when her upper body collided with his hard chest. "I can see that you applied makeup. My question is, to hide what? I need an answer. I don't have the habit of repeating myself. Who did this?" He stressed every syllable with anger, making the fine hair on her body rise with fear, and strangely, her heart is pounding. The heat from his body is giving her comfort, which is strange. Butterflies took flight in her stomach, giving her a warm, woozy feeling. She blinked her eyes repeatedly, trying to set her head right. It's nothing," she insisted. She tried to pull her elbow out of his grasp, but he didn't let her. Instead, he tightened his grip, making her wince from the sting. He looked at her intently. He can see that she is lying. For whatever stupid reason, she is trying to protect the person who abused her. He is not liking it. Kevin's face flashed in his mind. He gritted his teeth. He saw green. He does not like the fact that she is still trying to protect him after what he did. "Is it Kevin? Don't tell me that you still have feelings for him. He cheated on you. But still, you allowed him to touch you? You allowed him to slap you and now you are protecting him?" he asked with anger. Ida is taken aback by his anger. She is not understanding why he is so angry. But she didn't like the way he was speaking with her. He might be her boss, but discussing her personal life is not in her job description. "Why do you care? You are just my boss, not my boyfriend or my guardian. I used to date your nephew in the past. I am not so desperate that I still would want to get back with him after what he did. Discussing my personal life is not what I am paid to do here. Now if you please excuse me, you have a meeting in 10 minutes, she reminded him. Her words only managed to infuriate him more. Immediately he let go of her and turned away from her. He heard her receding footsteps. His cabin door opened and shut. She left. His shoulders are stiff and he is angry. What she said is not wrong. She just reminded him of the fact. He is not supposed to feel like a lunatic when it comes to her. A knock sounded on his door. He composed himself. His face is a blank mask now. Come in, he called out before settling in his chair behind his desk. He is still fuming. If Ida's words infuriated him, the fact that she is saving the person who slapped her is even more infuriating. Boss, our clients from the Norsen group have arrived. They are waiting for you in the meeting hall too, Mark relayed. Leo gave him a curt nod. All right, let's go. He picked up the necessary files before walking out of his cabin. Ida was waiting for them outside his cabin, but he ignored her and walked past her. She stepped behind him and walked beside Mark. As Leo was never talkative, Mike didn't feel anything wrong between his boss and the new assistant. The meeting started. Ida and Mike started noting points like usual. Every once in a while, one of the people from the Norsen group would request Ida for something or the other. Leo was noticing everything. His already foul mood was further ruined when the Norsen employees intentionally requested for Ida. One person needed some water, another one needed a coffee, the other one wanted her to bring photocopies, and when the fourth person called her, Leo snapped. Enough! 1 hour ago, as soon as Leo walked inside the meeting hall with Mike and Ida, everyone stood up to show their respect to the most talented and smart president of the Hamilton Group. The aloof, cold, and calculating Leo Hamilton is an enigma in the business world. He is a mystery to everyone. No one managed to even scrape the surface of what Leo could do. Leo managed to turn the entire Hamilton Group into profits after the demise of his father and brother, one after another. People whisper that they were killed, but no one knows what the truth is. Good morning, President Hamilton, everyone greeted him. Mike distributed the details of the quote from the Hamilton Group to the Nelson Group, so they can read it and there will be no confusion. While Ida arranged the head of the table for Leo, even though Leo is ignoring her and she wants to be anywhere but here, still they mask their emotions well and she arranges everything for him that he might need during the meeting. A few men from the Nelson Group didn't miss the young and beautiful assistant of the president. She looks absolutely breathtaking. She is not easy to miss. Thus, it began. The Nelson Group delegates wanted to get a closer look at Ida and test their luck with her, so they started ordering her around. They even touch her hand when she delivers their documents. They make the touches look innocent. But Ida was becoming increasingly uncomfortable. One person needed some water, another one needed a coffee, the other one wanted her to bring photocopies, and when the fourth person accidentally touched her butt, Leo snapped. Enough, his deep, commanding tone made everyone go still. No one said a word. His command is loud enough to be heard across the hall. His face is a mask of indifference, but he is fuming inside. For the life of him, Leo couldn't understand why he couldn't ignore Ida. When the other men's appreciative gazes were eating her up, he wanted to pull their eyeballs out. And when the touching started, he couldn't control his anger. He is so angry that he wanted to beat the shit out of them all. Let's take a break, he muttered before storming out of the meeting abruptly. A confused Mike looked at the retreating back of his boss with shock. This never happened before. His boss believes in completing things when they start. He is not the type to take a break. But now he is confused himself. He looked at Ida, who was standing there with wide-eyed confusion. Miss Wilson, he called her to gain her attention. When she looked at him, he motioned for her to follow after their boss, which she should have done. But she is looking as shocked as he is. He decided to stay there and take care of the clients. Ida nodded her head reluctantly. She is glad that her boss decided to pause the meeting, but she is not ready to face him just yet. But it is better to stay with her boss than stay amidst these people who are being handy. She wanted to snap at them, but she was worried that it might cause trouble with the project because of that. She heard from her classmates in college that it was common to be touched by rich clients. They also suggested to ignore like it never happened, and we can go a long way. But Ida never had to face this kind of situation in the last 2 years. That might be because she only worked under her mentor, Haley. Now, when she is facing this, she is not sure if she wanted to ignore this to go a long way in her career. It took a lot of self-control to not open her mouth and tell them how repulsive she is feeling by their touch. It felt like bugs were crawling on her skin. She rushed out of the meeting hall to catch up with her boss, but his strides were long and looked angry. She felt that he was angry for some reason. He must be angry with me about this morning, she thought. By the time she caught up with him, he entered inside his cabin. Quickly, she followed after him. But the moment she entered, his cabin door banged shut, and her boss was nowhere to be found in his office. The next second, she found herself being roughly pulled behind by 2 strong arms. Her back collided with his front, and his hands snaked tightly around her midriff. His scent flooded her nostrils. She became stiff. His anger is unmissable. "What the hell were you doing back there, Ida?" he asked with a very dangerous edge to his tone. A shiver ran down her spine. His touch made her skin break into goosebumps. Her stomach fluttered. Then a very dangerous thought crossed her mind. She likes his touch. Unlike the people in the meeting hall, his touch is making her feel good. That made her scared out of her mind. She is so caught up in her head that she missed what he just asked. Her breathing picked up, and so did her heartbeat. Leo is fuming. He doesn't know why he is feeling so territorial and possessive over her. He wants to wipe everyone's touch from her mind and body. He wants to keep her tied to his bed, and that thought is equal parts tempting and confusing. He doesn't know why she is affecting him so much. She shouldn't have. But she is. He didn't miss that she is stiffly standing in his arms, and she is not even responding to his question. He turned her around in his arms so that now she was facing him. He pinched her chin roughly and pulled her head up so that she was looking at him directly. Once her doe-like eyes clashed with his angry ones, he found himself relaxing instantly. Confusion and something else clearly written there. He is not supposed to touch her either. But hell if he could control his instincts when it comes to her. He loosened his grip on her chin and touched her forehead with his. They were breathing the same air, and she didn't make any move to move away either. He understood that she was in shock. "Why didn't you tell those men not to touch you? Why didn't you tell them that you are my assistant and not their maid?" he asked her. He is still angry, but a lot calmer than before. Her proximity and touch are relaxing to him. Ida is surprised by his question. She never thought he would care about her feelings. He read the surprise that registered on her face. Leo read the surprise that registered on her face. She looked at him with her innocent gray orbs. "I can do that?" Just like he thought, she asked innocently. He nodded, thinking what made her feel that she shouldn't defend herself. Ida is really surprised. She thought no one would bother about a new assistant like her. And most importantly, she doesn't want to impact the negotiations negatively. The Nelsons Group is one of the groups that supply the raw materials for the Hamilton clothing business. The Hamilton clothing brand has both high-end, limited edition designer wear and regular affordable wear for everyone. The Nelsons have been supplying raw materials for over 10 years now. They have a great rapport with the Hamilton Group. She doesn't want to damage that by upsetting them. When she was in foster care, one of her foster brothers tried to touch her forcefully when she was sleeping, but she slapped him. Instead of him, it was she who was thrown out of that foster home. No one accepted her after that, claiming that she was a troublemaker. She was pushed from one foster home to another after that. That's when she learned how unfair this world is. The feeling of being alone and defenseless stuck her hard at that time. She was a victim, but still, she was the one who was punished. She had no one to defend her or speak for her then. That's when she decided to keep her head down and blend with the crowd, not daring to gain anyone's attention. She learned that she would be punished even if she was not in the wrong. He cupped her bruised cheek with his rough palm and gently caressed her cheek. "Why did you feel like you should endure their nonsense?" he asked gently. He wanted to know why she silently took it all. She contemplated if she should share the truth or not. In the end, she decided to go with the truth. For some reason, he made her feel like she could tell him the truth and trust him. "I was scared that you might get angry and I might lose my job like I lost everything else," she shared her fear. His eyes became tender. He is not liking this. For the first time, he notices that she is in a very vulnerable position right now. And he can understand why. "Did you like it when they touched you?" he asked gently. "They might cause trouble with the project if I am rude to them," she asked innocently. She shook her head. She didn't like it, not even a little bit. She is not a very touchy-feely person to begin with. She remembers when this weirdness started. It started from the night when she was rudely woken up by her foster brother, who was touching her where he shouldn't have. It's not like a phobia, but she prefers not to be touched. She can tolerate it to a certain extent, but after that, she prefers to be left alone. That's one of the reasons why she didn't sleep with Kevin. She is not understanding why she is still allowing her boss to stay so close to her. Why the prickly feeling of the bugs crawling haven't started yet. He is invading her privacy so much that just an inch separates their faces. Then it's not wrong to defend yourself. I am the boss here. They will not dare to offend me. Even if they did, it's their loss. You are my employee. Don't let anyone make you feel wronged. Not in the office or anywhere else. You can do whatever it takes to show them their place, and you can count on me to firmly stand behind you. He offered his support while touching the corner of her lips with his thumb where it is still a bit swollen. She closed her eyes. Both her body and mind are warmed up with his touch and his words. He is touching her body, but his words of assurance and support are giving her strength and a warm feeling inside her head, as if she can count on him, as if she is not alone and he will support her. This feeling, this assurance that she never received from either Claire or from Kevin, is making her feel good. Now thinking about it, Claire never came to her aid, or neither did Kevin. She had them, but still she struggled with everything alone. But Leo Hamilton is different, and she is seeing that this man has a heart of gold. "Thank you," she whispered, feeling overwhelmed. He hid his smile of satisfaction. Now that this is out of the way, he wants to find out who slapped her. "Now we are at it. Tell me, who is this person who slapped you?" he inquired. Ida was not expecting that. Her heart is pounding for another reason now. She doesn't want to tell Claire's name and cause trouble in their family. Now she is ready to run away from his office. She tried to move back, but he already anticipated her move. He tightened his hand around the small of her back and made it hard for her to escape. President Hamilton, we should rejoin the meeting." She is searching for reasons to escape, but he is not budging. He raised an amused eyebrow at her attempt. "My office and my rules, they will wait. You don't worry about them. Tell me, who did this to you?" he asked again. She is feeling like a deer caught under headlights. Up until then, she didn't notice how close they both were standing. Even if she did notice, she was preoccupied with something else. But now, when she is very aware of their proximity, she notices that every inch of their upper body is touching, and he is completely invading her personal space. We are not supposed to touch each other like this," she reminded him. Her voice was a breathy whisper. He smirked. He knows that. Hell, he is the person who introduced that rule. "Is it? Did you notice that just now?" he asked with a wolfish grin. She is taken aback to see the playful side of this man. If he looks like an angry Greek god when he glares, he looks like deadly when he smiles. She blushed, unable to answer his question. He is right. She blushed, unable to answer his question. He is right. He traced her cheek, which turned pink with embarrassment. He leaned in and kissed that pink area of her cheek. She sucked a deep breath with surprise. Her eyes were wide as saucers. He wanted to kiss her badly, but he knew he should not. She is his employee. "It's Claire, isn't it?" he guessed. When he noticed the bitterness on her face, he understood that he was right. He did not like Claire at all. No, it's not Claire." She tried to defend her ex-best friend, but he knew that he guessed right. His jaw hardened and his mouth set into a thin line. "I don't understand why you still insist upon defending her. What she did with you was unforgivable." "Then why?" he demanded with a hint of irritation. His touch is still gentle and possessive. He is not supposed to hold her like this. But he is reluctant to leave. There is something about her that is pulling him towards her. Ida is feeling bitter. She doesn't like Claire. Not after what she did. But the baby? I don't understand why you insist upon. She tried to play the same card and brush his concern away by her rudeness. But this time, he didn't let her. He cut her off mid-sentence by placing his finger over her lips. He knows that he will get upset if she finishes that sentence. Don't finish that sentence. Why the hell are you being so stubborn? Haley never mentioned this side of yours. You can lie and hide everything. But I know it's Claire. She deserves what is coming her way, he muttered with annoyance. Ida became worried about his words. She is worried about the baby. Why don't you understand? It's not just about Claire anymore. She is pregnant with Kevin's child. What is the mistake of that baby in all of this? That baby deserves a perfect family. That is possible only if they both get married. The world already has enough orphans and uncared and abandoned children. It doesn't need more. She spoke with so much emotion that he belatedly understood that she is speaking out of her self-experience. He read her personal file. He knows that her mother left her in the hospital after giving birth to her. No one knows the real name of her mother or who her father is. He is feeling bad for her. He pulled her into a hug. Even though life dealt her a bad hand, she still managed to study and come this far on her own. He couldn't help but admire her strength. If, there is a big if here. If at all she is carrying Kevin's child, that baby will be brought up as a Hamilton. He will be given a good home and a family. But if she is not, which I suspect is the case, then I will make sure to make her suffer for all of her sins, he promised. She relaxed a little after that. She realized that her relationship with her boss was very different from the beginning. Saying that it is different is keeping it mildly. They had wild shocks on the night they first met. He still hires her the next morning when he knows that she is his one-night stand and his nephew's ex. They should not be seen like this, but he keeps touching her intimately, and she is not complaining at all. Boss, a knock from outside sounded. Ida jumped in his arms with fear. Being caught like this with her boss would be the worst thing she could do to her career. Unlike her, Leo is calm and relaxed. He is still holding her possessively around her waist, much to her horror. What is it, Mike? His steady voice rang loudly, ensuring that the person outside could hear him. There was a pause from Mike. The Nelson Group is waiting for you, Mike informed. Leo looked at Ida before replying. All right, I am coming. You can go, he instructed Mike. Mike is confused. He looked at the closed door and the empty desk of Ida with a confused frown. Now where is Ida? If she doesn't come back before the meeting starts, then the boss is going to get angry, he thought out loud. Inside the office, Leo looked at his assistant intently. If any of them touches you again, I am going to lose it. Deal with them before I am forced to do it for you, he warned her. She bobbed her head like a doll, too scared to open her mouth and speak. She is worried that Mike might still be standing outside and might hear her voice. He loosened his grip, and she moved away from him as fast as she could. Go, I am giving you 1 minute head start, he offered. She hesitated a little. He left. Leo offered helpfully, indicating that Mike left. She gave him a look of surprise before rushing out of his office. In the meeting hall, the clients were waiting for Leo when Ida walked inside. She didn't get a chance to calm herself down. Her boss has made her experience so many emotions that she is feeling flustered. Everyone noticed her, even though she stepped in silently. Immediately, Mike rushed to her side. Ida, where were you? Where is President Hamilton? He inquired. Ida is fighting hard not to show how she is feeling. President Hamilton said that he will come. He asked me to go first, she half lied. Just as she finished her sentence, Leo strode inside leisurely. He looked relaxed and calmer than a while ago. He occupied his chair while Ida and Mike stood on either side of him. After the meeting resumed, one of the clients from the Nelson Group signaled for Ida to come closer. Leo noticed it too. His fist tightened with anger. Miss Wilson, I need a photocopy of this. Can you bring it for me? He asked Ida. The young lady is tensed and her palms are sweating. Her life lessons made her believe that she should not defend herself or get into any kind of argument. Apart from the time when she lost it to learn about Claire and Kevin's affair, she is otherwise a very calm person who likes to keep her head down because she's scared to defend herself. But today she got a chance to do that, and she is scared. One look at Leo gave her the strength she needed to do this. "Sir, with all due respect, everything you need is neatly lined up on that workstation. Please help yourself with anything that you might need. I am President Hamilton's assistant, not a bellboy. Hope you understand." She refused to do his bidding in a very calm and composed tone. Her words didn't sit well with the client. He is the CFO of the Nelson Group. "What? Did you forget your level? You are talking to the CFO of a huge company. How dare you to talk to me like that?" he fumed. The person who was giving the presentation stopped suddenly at the commotion. All the eyes rested on Leo, who was calmly looking at the file in his hand. Even Mike was tensed. Silly girl. Why did she have to open her mouth and say that? Now boss will be angry, he thought. He was a male and he was never in the same situation as Ida. So he doesn't know why she refused to help. All eyes are set on Leo Hamilton, who has yet to comment on what his assistant did. Ida is tense. She did not do anything wrong. She just made sure to not give this lecherous man any more chances to touch her again. He already touched her twice, and he was also the same person who touched her backside. But she was the victim of the same kind of circumstances once, and she was also the person who got the punishment instead of the man who committed the mistake. She can feel the heaviness of all the eyes on her, and that is enough to make her anxious. "Mr. Hamilton, is this the kind of people you employ? She lacks manners and etiquette. She doesn't know how to behave with her superiors. She should have apologized to me immediately. But look at how she is standing here without any remorse." The CFO fumed, misunderstanding Leo's silence as his permission to scold Ida. "Ms. Wilson, come here," Leo instructed her in a mild tone. By the tone of his voice, no one can tell what is running inside his mind. Ida quickly walked towards Leo and stood beside him obediently. "Here, take these files to the production department and tell them that the contract we have with the Nelson Group is terminated, and tell them to pause the production for a while until we can find another supplier," he instructed calmly, much to the shock of everyone present in the room. Mike is gaping at his boss with his mouth hanging open. Even Ida was not expecting this to happen. Now she started feeling guilty for everything that happened. President Hamilton, she opened her mouth to remind him that they might have to bear some losses if the production is stopped so abruptly. But with one look from him, she clasped her mouth shut, accepted the file, and turned to leave. But before she could leave, the people from the Nelson Group spoke up. "President Hamilton, what's the meaning of this? You cannot terminate our contract like this," the CEO of the Nelson Group objected. Leo leaned back in his chair and gave the man a leveled glare. "Can't I? Why?" he asked evenly. "The CEO is upset about everything. Why? Because you cannot just terminate a contract just like that. You need to give a proper valid explanation for doing that. It's your assistant who was rude to us. Then why is it that she is not being punished, but we are?" he asked in a high-pitched tone, which grated on Leo's nerves. Ida is tense, and so is Mike. This is the first time Mike has seen his boss act so rashly without considering the pros and cons of his decision. Leo banged his fist on his desk. Everyone jumped with fear. Slowly he stood up to his full height. His body language is screaming anger, and it's imposing. He is a tall man with broad shoulders and a well-maintained muscular body. His height and physique is enough to scare his opponents. He doesn't even have to open his mouth. But when he does, no one can beat his logic and cunning mind. "You need a reason? Then let's hear them out," Leo said in a calm tone, but he is not at all calm. "Mike, pick up that red file and start reading the contents out loud," he instructed his assistant. Immediately, Mike picked up the said file and started reading the content written inside. It was a report from the quality control team of the Hamilton Group. This report was given after thoroughly analyzing the fabric supplied by the Nelson Group. Looking at the rise of complaints from our customers, our president decided to check the quality of the fabric we are receiving. After testing, comparing, and analyzing the product, we hereby announce that the quality of the fabric is not good. Mike finished, much to the shock of the people present in the room. The Nelson Group became uncomfortable and looked at each other with matching frowns. They all know that the fabric's quality is compromised, but they hid it and supplied it anyway. Leo, on the other hand, is not done yet. And speaking about my assistant's behavior, what she said is right. She is my assistant, not yours. If I had known that you people don't know how to do mundane tasks by themselves, then I would have canceled this meeting beforehand. You are sitting in my company and bullying my employees? It's not done. What's even worse is the inappropriate way you are touching her. Your lack of respect for your work and the women around you is disgusting. It's not Miss Wilson, but you people who should be apologizing to her, he said with a hard and unpleasant tone. His expression is neutral, and he is standing casually with his hands buried in his slack pockets. He is not even speaking loudly, but the power and anger in his words is enough to scare them all. While the Nelson Group representatives are thoroughly shaken, Mike and Ida are looking at him with respect. After that, Leo gave Mike a nod and walked out of the room. Ida quickly followed after him, while Mike was assigned to escort their guests outside and make sure that they did not cause any issues. "This way, please." Mike pointed his hand in the direction of the exit door. One after another, they followed after him, unable to do anything. In the Hamilton mansion, Kevin is in a bad mood. "You are an idiot for impregnating a woman who lacks any social standing. That woman is a nobody and an orphan. What's worse, she doesn't even have a decent job. What were you even thinking, Kevin? You are a Hamilton. If you cannot contribute anything to lift your family name, at least don't do anything to bring it down." Clarence Hamilton, who is Kevin's mother, yelled at him. Clarence Hamilton is Leo's sister-in-law and Kevin's mother. She is almost 18 years older than Leo, but still she is scared of Leo and would think twice before opening her mouth in front of him. When her husband was alive, he tried but failed to handle the Hamilton fortune and businesses, especially after the senior Hamilton perished. But when Leo took charge, it became a one-man show. It was always Leo who decided and finalized everything. The rest would blindly follow him. Leo's brother is the same too, much to the displeasure of Clarence. Even though she married into a rich and reputed family, neither her husband nor her, they never held any power. All they had was the Hamilton name and money for their monthly expenses. She expected that her son Kevin would change that, and he would take charge of the Hamilton family businesses. But that never happened. He failed time and again and almost ruined $10 million in various projects that he approved and invested in. He proved to everyone that he was useless, just like his father, James Hamilton. After that, Leo banned him from ever entering the company. Clarence wished that at least Kevin would find a rich girl from an influential family to get married to. But Kevin disappointed her again by picking a nobody like Claire. Kevin, on the other hand, is in a difficult position. He is feeling very upset, but unable to express what he is upset with. He doesn't want to marry Claire. It's Ida, who he was in love with. He still wants to marry Ida if Claire is not pregnant and their unborn child is not hanging around his neck like a noose. Now his mother's anger only fueled his frustration. "What do you want me to do, Mom? Leave her?" "But it's impossible. You know very well how much Uncle Leo gives importance to our family name. If he finds out that I slept with Claire and left her after impregnating her, he will have my head for dinner. I don't want to take that risk. I'd rather marry Claire than be buried 10 feet under in a coffin somewhere," he exclaimed with irritation. Clarence gritted her teeth. She knows that it's true. Leo would not forgive them if they did anything to ruin the family's reputation. "It's all your fault. Why do you have to mingle with a low-class crowd? You were after that Ida and were hell-bent on marrying her. At least she would have been a better choice. She is well-educated and has a stable job in our own company. Even though she was not the best, she was better. But you had to mess that up too. This Claire girl is not properly educated and doesn't know how to mingle with the elite. She would embarrass us and degrade your position in the family even more." She expressed how annoyed and against she is with the idea of Kevin marrying Claire. Kevin knows all of this. That's why he never entertained or promised anything to Claire since the moment he started sleeping with her. Claire broached the subject of him leaving Ida many times, but Kevin never had feelings for Claire. He only ever loved Ida, but now he messed everything up. "Mom, I know I messed up. Do something. Do you think I want to marry Claire? Don't I know that she is not fit to be my wife? You don't know how relieved I was when Uncle Leo canceled the announcement yesterday. I did not even bother to find out why he did that. I was happy. But it's temporary. I want you to permanently get rid of Claire for me. I want to marry Ida. I know you can make that happen. Please, Mom, help me out, he begged his mom. Clarence is still mad, but she relaxes a little when she sees how miserable her son is. After her husband passed away because of his alcohol addiction and liver failure, she diverted all of her love towards Kevin, her son. She will give him everything he wants in his life, and getting rid of Claire is just a small issue for her. But about Ida Wilson, he should do it on his own. I will deal with Claire. In the meantime, you and pursue Ida. You said that she is your uncle's new assistant, right? If you marry her, at least we can have some power in the company through her. Clarence promised. Kevin grinned with happiness and kissed his mom's cheek. Thank you so much, Mom. You are the best. He praised Clarence and left her room with a pep in his step. In the Hamilton company, after the meeting with the Nelson group, Leo was busy. He received the details he requested from Matthew about another group who are ready to supply the fabric with better quality and lower price. As they decided not to use the Nelson fabric, the production came to an abrupt stop and all the defaulted costumes were recalled. It was a tough day for the sales department, the production department, and also for Leo. They had to work until 9 p.m. Even after they all left, Leo is still working at 10:30 that night. He still had a lot to deal with. The entire office is empty as everyone left for the day. But Leo and Ida are still in the office. Ida decided to stay back and help Leo as she is the main reason why all of this stirred up. Leo told her to leave, but she couldn't leave him alone. So she stayed back and helped him where she could. President Hamilton, she placed a steaming cup of coffee on his desk. Leo paused what he was doing and looked at her curiously. I told you to leave, he reminded her. He discarded his jacket, loosened his tie, and his sleeves were pushed up over his forearms. The top 3 buttons of his dress shirt are undone, and his hair is messy. But still, he is looking hot as hell. The veins on his forearm were popping up, and she noticed a tattoo peeking just below his elbow. I am sorry, she apologized, feeling really bad about the mess she created. I am sorry, she apologized, feeling bad about the mess she created. He leaned back in his chair and stapled his fingers in front of his broad, muscular chest while eyeing her intently. Sorry, for what? He inquired. Ida is looking down at her palms with a guilt-stricken face. This is all because of me. Everyone is affected because of that. I shouldn't have offended him. Now everyone is trying to salvage this situation. The sales department already estimated 500,000 losses for the garments we recalled and the deliveries that were delayed, she expressed with a frown. In a way, she is the one who stirred the pot of worms. I see. Then how are you planning to save this situation? He asked with a blank face while his intense gaze trained on her. She lifted her gaze to meet his. A frown of concern is etched on her face. She is just one of the employees and she cannot do anything but work and give her best to help them. I can do anything I can to help the company, she confessed honestly. Leo nodded thoughtfully. He was quiet for a second before a playful glint entered his gaze, which she didn't notice. In that case, come here. He summoned her to come closer to him. She didn't think much about it and round the table before standing beside his chair obediently. As soon as she was within touching distance, he pulled her toward him by holding her around her wrist. She was not expecting that, so she was not prepared for the momentum. She stumbled and fell on top of him. He wrapped his arms around her waist and locked her in place. She is lying in such a way that her upper half is lying on top of his upper body, while one of her knees is hanging between his wide-spread legs. Ah. A squeak of surprise left her lips, followed by a gasp after her chest collided with his. She is looking at him with wide eyes. While all the playfulness left his eyes, he was just planning to tease her. But the moment her soft body touched his, all his good intentions were slipped out of the window. As if his hands had a mind of their own, they wrapped around her and prevented her from moving away. President Hamilton? She stuttered with shock. She was not expecting this. Her voice is just a whisper, which still rang loudly in the otherwise empty office. They are breathing each other, and their faces are just inches apart. he hummed in reply while his palms caressed her back. You. This. Ida opened her mouth to tell him to leave her ting. This is inappropriate. But when he leaned closer and ran his nose down her cheek, her mind became foggy and she forgot what she wanted to tell him. He pulled her into his lap and tightened his arms even more, which made her come impossibly closer to him. His mouth moved down the length of her cheek before traveling down to her neck. His tongue peeked out and tasted her skin there. She gasped and fisted his shirt with her small palms. His lips moved over the skin on her neck, playing and nibbling with the sensitive flesh. She moaned a hot sound that made him hard for her. One of his palms pulled her hair out of her bun. Her long, soft, reddish-brown locks tumbled down her back and bounced over her back before settling down. He buried the same palm in her hair and pulled her head back so that she was looking at him. Her gaze is dilated, and a hint of want and confusion is swirling in those gray depths. God, how I want to devour her as a whole, he thought to himself as the bits of their nights together flashed in his mind. He is not a fool. He knows that he is attracted to her. She is beautiful, innocent, and very intelligent. A deadly combination. He also knows that this is wrong, and he is risking her career and his reputation if this gets out. One night with her is not enough, and his body wants more. Giving in to that demand is very dangerous. And he no longer wants to risk his family name. He used to be a rebel once, but that part of him is hidden from the outside world. No one knows about that side of him. These suits and his etiquette are the masks he is wearing for the sake of the Hamilton name. This was his late father's last wish. He is not the gentleman whom the world knows about. He is far from it. Ida is teasing that side of him, which is dangerous for her. Unable to resist the temptation that she was, he leaned in and kissed both corners of her lips. She moaned. That sound is hot as hell. She is not the prim and proper assistant now. She looks wild and so tempting, just like the way he likes his women. He pecked her lips and sucked her bottom lip gently. Her taste exploded in his mouth, making him realize that he wanted her again and again. He wanted to devour her as a whole. This time he wanted to take his time. Slowly he pulled her, not deepening the kiss. He knows that he might not be able to stop if he takes this further. She looked at him with confusion when he pulled back. She is looking like a doll now, perfectly disheveled doll. You look like a living and breathing doll. You know that? Your pink pouty lips, your smooth alabaster skin, those doe-like eyes. Did anyone ever tell you that? He asked distractedly. Ida is dazed. 1 second he was kissing and teasing her, and the next second he compliments her. She forgot that she was sitting on his lap. She shook her head. No one told her that. Baby doll, he murmured. She frowned with confusion. She is breathing rapidly, but he is calm and composed as if he was not kissing his assistant just a moment ago. Leo smiled at her confused expression. She is looking cute in that look as well. He decided to appease the man he is hiding. And he wants Ida. I want you again. Not as my girlfriend or something like that. No emotional attachment or no commitments. I want your body. Think about it, he said, shocking the hell out of her. Ida is still reeling in shock. She is lying down on her bed in her room, and it's after midnight. She is tired as hell. But still, she couldn't fall asleep. Her mind is wide awake. I want your body without any commitments. His words are still ringing in her head. After his declaration, he didn't give her a chance to refuse or tell him that she was not like that. He simply announced that he was going to drop her home and she could fetch her car the next day. She followed after him like a lost puppy. When Haley, her mentor, told her that she might have an opportunity to become the president's assistant, Ida was so excited. She never once thought in her wildest dreams that she would become his one-night stand and catch his attention like this. As far as his reputation is concerned, he is not a womanizer by any means. He is said to be mysterious, ruthless, and a very cunning man, but he was completely a new person with her. Ida doesn't remember when she slept, but when her alarm clock woke her up the next morning, she was sleepy and still tired. She got ready for work with dread. She contemplated taking a sick leave but was worried that her too smart boss would see through her lie. Just when she was blow-drying her wet locks, she heard her doorbell ringing. She frowned. Who can it be this early in the morning? She wondered. Claire's face flashed in her mind. It must be Claire. It's a good thing that I changed the locks. I have to make it clear that she is no longer welcome here, she decided. She opened the door with anger and displeasure. She doesn't want to speak with Claire or Kevin. They made their choices, and she made hers. But when she looked at her guest on the other side, she was shocked. President Hamilton? Her voice came out as a squeak. Her hair is messy from the blow-dryer, and she is wearing shorts and a camisole. She has yet to get dressed, as she still has half an hour more to get started. Leo, on the other hand, eyed her with open appreciation. He is not hiding the fact that he likes what he sees. Her long, creamy legs are on display. She is not dressed to receive guests, and he couldn't sleep after the barely there kiss from last night. He wanted more, and he bet everything he owned that she would not kiss him or sleep with him willingly. But he is sure he can change her mind. He wants her, and that is that. She is his prey and loves a good chase. Usually he has more self-control than this, but she is like a trump card who is teasing and tempting him. Without saying a word, he stepped inside her modest apartment. She is forced to take a step back when he invades her personal space. He pushed the door closed without taking his eyes off her. She is looking at him nervously. He pulled her towards him with one swift move and kissed her the way he wanted to. Rough, wet, and wild, he attacked her lips with his, not exactly giving her a chance to refuse. He swallowed the sound of surprise she made. He took that opportunity to push his tongue inside her mouth and taste her as if his life depended on it. He sucked her tongue hard enough to earn a moan. Her palms are wrapped around his nape and buried in his hair, tugging his dark locks. He moved his hands under her camisole and caressed her soft flesh with the pads of his rough hands. Her skin is as soft as a flower petal. He wanted more. This is not enough. He is like a hungry lion, and she is his prey. Just then, the loud ringing of his mobile interrupted them. Ida jumped with shock. She doesn't remember when she started kissing him back and when she wrapped her hands around his neck. But now their bodies are fused together, and he is touching her bare back. Leo wanted to ignore the call, but only a handful of people call him on his personal number, and he cannot ignore their calls. He pulled his mobile out with one hand while the other was still under her camisole. "This better be important, Mike," he snapped. Mike on the other end is scared to hear the harsh tone of his boss, but he cannot ignore the situation at hand, so he relayed the information that he learned from Kevin. "Boss, Mr. Kevin Hamilton called just now. He said that his fiancée, Miss Claire, met with an accident and she suffered a miscarriage. She was admitted in the emergency room now," he shared. Leo has a slight frown on his forehead, which Ida notices. "I see. You wait for me there," he instructed Mike before disconnecting the call. An accident? Strange, he thought to himself. Ida didn't know what happened, but the look in his eyes told her that something happened. Slowly, she tried to pry herself away from his hold, but his hold was still stronger even when he was distracted. She caught his attention when she wiggled to get out of his arms. He looked at her intently. "Claire met with an accident," he shared. She became stiff at once. Even though she is angry at Claire for the betrayal, she never once wished bad things to happen to her. "What? How is she doing now? Is she all right?" she asked with genuine concern. Leo is amazed to see the concern in her eyes. Claire tries to destroy Ida, but still, the latter is worried about her ex-friend. There is no malice in those gray orbs, but he knows that Claire doesn't deserve Ida. "She is fine. She is in hospital now. Go get ready. We have to leave," he announced and allowed her to escape. In the city central hospital, Claire is quietly sobbing. Kevin is rubbing her back, trying to calm her down. He is pretending to be caring, but he wants to be anywhere but here. He is bursting around the seams with happiness. This baby is the only thing that is tying him down with Claire. Now that it's gone, he is not forced to marry her anymore. Just like his mother advised, he is hiding his true emotions and is pretending to be a good boyfriend here. He doesn't want to risk Claire finding out about his treacherous act of killing their own baby. While Claire was descending the stairs, he pushed her from behind and immediately hid behind a huge pot. Everyone's attention was on the crying and bleeding Claire, and no one tried to find out how she fell. Even Claire was unaware that he was behind her and had been waiting for that opportunity for an hour. Just like they planned, his mother invited Claire to dinner, and while she was descending the stairs from his room, he pushed her down. "Baby, please control yourself," he pretended to shower concern, and she melted in his arms like butter. Stupid woman. If she thinks that she can force me to marry her using this baby, then she doesn't know what he can do. If not for the fear of his uncle, he would have dumped her long ago and pursued Ida again, he thought. On the other hand, Claire is devastated. She planned this pregnancy for 4 months. Her plan worked out after months of planning and plotting. She thought that Kevin would forget Ida and declare his love for her. But even after 1 year of them sleeping together, he still wanted Ida badly. She never used to allow him to even touch her intimately, but he did not mind that. He used to use Claire to vent out his desires and then shower Ida with his attention, as she was never materialistic and never encouraged him to give her gifts of any kind. On the other hand, Claire wanted him to give her gifts, but he never did. She is like a tissue, use and discard. That's when she came up with this plan. And it worked out well. Until now. I am not a mother material, but this baby was my ticket to become rich. But it was ruined before I could become a Hamilton. I remember that someone pushed me down the stairs. I am sure it must be someone whom Ida must have arranged. She is jealous that I am with Kevin now. If she thinks that she can separate me from Kevin and take my place, then she is dead wrong. I will kill her before allowing her to throw me into poverty again. She fumed with anger. She is not particularly sad that she lost the baby. She is upset that her plans are ruined. Just then, the door to their VIP room opened from outside. Mike held the door open while Leo walked in, silently followed by Ida. Mike quietly left the room and offered some privacy to the family. He is puzzled when his boss instructs Ida to follow after him, but he didn't think much about it and left them alone. He had some flight tickets to book for their upcoming schedule. Claire and Kevin looked at Leo with respect. Claire maintained a pitiful expression, while Kevin tried to look upset. Their composure broke until they both noticed Ida standing behind Leo. Claire is glaring daggers at Ida, while Kevin is looking at her with longing. "I heard what happened. How are you feeling now?" Leo asked with a neutral expression. He did not miss the venom in Claire's eyes directed towards Ida, and the look in his nephew's eyes made him angry. For some reason, he didn't like the way Kevin was eating Ida up with his gaze. He moved sideways, effectively blocking Ida from their view. "Someone pushed me down the stairs, Mr. Hamilton. They killed my innocent baby." Claire cried out with anger and pretended to be upset about it as well. Her tears can be mistaken to be from grief, but Leo could see past her facade, and he felt disgusted. He has seen worse people than Claire in his other life, and she is nothing when compared to them all. She is greedy, like the rest. On the other hand, Kevin became stiff with fear when Claire disclosed that someone pushed her down. He is terrified that his uncle might find out what he did and punish him. Leo noticed how stiff and pale Kevin became at the accusation Claire just made. "Is it? Whom do you think pushed you?" he inquired evenly, keenly noticing how increasingly uncomfortable and pale Kevin was becoming. Claire, on the other hand, is not noticing Kevin. She is not even suspecting him. All of her attention is on Ida, who is standing behind Leo Hamilton. "It's her, your assistant, and Kevin's ex, Ida Wilson. She is not as innocent as she looks. She is a bitch who killed my unborn child. Mr. Hamilton, punish her, throw her out of your company. She is vile and a jealous bitch." Claire accused and cussed Ida. Kevin relaxed immediately, while Ida became pale with shock. Leo is not as shocked as Ida. He already guessed by how angrily Claire was glaring at Ida when they entered the room. People are blinded by their desires, he thought to himself. Ida moved to the side and looked at Claire with shock. "Claire?" she exclaimed with shock. Ida is shocked that Claire can think so lowly about her after all these years when they lived together and only had each other to call as family. Claire is furious. She and Ida have known each other for over a decade. But in all these years, Claire always compared herself with Ida and developed only jealousy and resentment towards her friend rather than trying to understand her nature. That is why it is easy for her to accuse Ida. "Don't pretend, Ida. You cannot fool me like you fool everyone around you. I can easily look past your innocent act. You are a murderer who killed my child." If you think you can take my place as future Mrs. Hamilton, then stop daydreaming. I will kill you if... Claire was yelling and shouting at Ida, completely ignoring the fact that they were in a hospital. Quiet. Leo snapped with authority and annoyance, which made Claire go quiet with fear. Even Kevin jumped with fear. Ida is the only one who is unaffected by his tone. She is still reeling with shock at the accusation Claire is loosely throwing at her. Enough, Leo snapped. He is the kind of man who likes not to interfere with other people's lives. He enjoys watching them making a fool of themselves. He usually ignores fools like Claire. But this situation is different. Here, it's his nephew who seems to have pushed Claire, and the foolish woman is blaming Ida for that. What Kevin did was unforgivable, even though Leo is not fond of Claire. Killing an innocent baby is a crime, and Kevin is going to pay dearly. And Ida is being blamed and accused of something that she did not do is not fair either. If there was any other woman instead of Ida, he would have let this drama play out and he would have done what he had to. But this is his Ida, the woman who is slowly creeping under his skin and whom he likes. He never saw a more genuine person than her, and she is the last person who should be on the receiving end of Claire's accusations. And he is dead sure that Ida would allow Claire to cuss and vent out her anger on Ida because the former just lost her child. What happened to Claire is sad, but she should watch her tongue when speaking to other people, especially with people who belong to him. "Do you have any proof, Miss Johnson?" he asked Claire. He saw Ida fighting with her emotions, but she did not open her mouth to shut Claire up. He knows how vulnerable Ida is at that moment. She lost everyone whom she had held dear. Now they are trying to hurt her with their actions and words. Claire gritted her teeth and shook her head. No, she doesn't have any proof, but she is sure only Ida has a motive to do this to her. "I don't," she voiced out, feeling angry and confused. She is angry that she is unable to do anything to hurt Ida, and she is confused as to why the extraordinary Leo Hamilton is supporting her. Leo looked at Kevin with suppressed anger. It's Kevin who did all this. "Kevin, your girlfriend should refrain from throwing severe allegations like this against people who are with me. Tell her not to repeat this kind of thing." Leo warned Kevin to keep Claire under control. "Please accept my apology, Uncle. She is feeling sad. That is why she is talking like this. I hope you can forgive her for her audacity," Kevin pleaded. Offending his uncle was the last thing he wanted to do. Leo can throw Kevin out of the Hamilton mansion if the latter acts out of turn. Leo ignored Kevin's begging and the woman beside him. Swiftly, he turned away and started walking out of the room. But when he noticed that Ida was rooted in the spot and was on the verge of crying, his gaze became soft. "Miss Wilson," he called her. Ida turned to look at her boss with wide, watery eyes. "Let's go," he said softly. She nodded her head in a daze and quietly followed after him. She could feel the glare of her ex-best friend until she left the room. Ida is unnaturally quiet after visiting Claire. Leo and Mike spoke about something, but she was preoccupied and did not pay attention to details. Mike left after that blindly. She followed after Leo. She is deeply hurt by the way Claire accused her. She thinks that I am capable of killing an unborn child? Is this the way she thinks about me? I thought we shared a bond. But this is showing how little Claire knows about me. When did she start resenting me so much? What have I ever done to deserve this much hatred from her? She slept with my boyfriend. Then she drugged me and made me lose my virginity to my boss. Then she slapped me for ruining her marriage announcement. And now this. Did she ever consider me as her friend? Ida is lost in her misery. In the Hamilton group, Leo is silently watching Ida while she prepares his coffee and arranges his files for the day based on their priority. She is doing everything on autopilot mode. Her gray eyes, which he began to like, are filled with anguish. Not once did she look at him or utter a single word after they left the hospital. He is unable to see her like this. She's on the verge of crying, but she is trying hard not to. She doesn't have anyone with whom she can share her problems and who can hug her to console her. She trusted the wrong people. Now she was left alone to deal with the aftermath of the mess they left. He can understand how lonely she must be feeling. "Ida," he called her softly when she turned to leave his office. Slowly she turned towards him but didn't meet his "and." She is looking at something near his shoulder. "Yes, President Hamilton," she asked professionally. "She is tougher than she looks, and he likes this quality of hers too." "Look at me," he told her. She did not obey him immediately. She took her time to compose herself before meeting his gaze. But when she did, she was not prepared to see the concern in his eyes. That did it. The barrier she erected to block her emotions was broken, and silent tears started trickling down her cheeks. "Damn it," he cursed when he saw her tears. Something in his chest started aching, and it began to make him feel uncomfortable. He stood up before walking towards her and pulled her into a hug. She did not resist. She melted in his arms and silently sobbed on his chest. She loosely wrapped her hands around him while she absorbed the bits of affection he showered on her. She was starving for someone to comfort her and assure her that everything would be all right. From the moment she learned about Kevin and Claire, she was feeling lonely, and the burden of her grief started to crush her under its weight. She has no one to share her happiness or sadness with. She is all alone. "I don't know what I did to make her hate me so much. I swear I didn't do anything to hurt her or her baby. I don't even want Kevin in my life again. She is wrong," she cried, feeling helpless. She wanted to defend herself and make someone believe that she was not like that. Leo tightened his arms around her, feeling angry at Kevin and Claire for doing this to Ida. She is a sweet and innocent girl, and they both take advantage of her sweet nature. "Baby doll, not everyone who faces an accusation is bad. I am damn sure that you haven't done anything to offend Claire. Don't do this to yourself. Give yourself some slack. Now be a good girl and stop crying," he coaxed her softly. His words gave her the strength to compose herself. Slowly she pulled away from him, feeling embarrassed. She noticed a wet spot on his dress shirt, which was because of her tears. "I am sorry, Mr. Hamilton," she apologized for ruining his shirt and picked up some tissues to wipe the wet spot. But he stopped her by holding her wrist. She looked at him, puzzled. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. She cracked a small smile and nodded her head. Slowly she is realizing that her boss has so many layers. As he is allowing her to peek under his corporate mask, she likes the man a little more every day. Ida found herself sitting stiffly in a flight. She is sitting in a private chartered flight beside her handsome boss, who is replying to his emails. Coincidentally, this is the first time she is traveling on a flight, and she is scared and nervous. While growing up, she never had money to spend on herself, apart from spending on bare minimal necessities. After getting a job, she was more focused on learning her work, as she was just an intern then. Moreover, she doesn't have anyone to visit, and all her savings are spent on Claire to help her with her business. She was never comfortable going anywhere with Kevin, even though he suggested it several times. Now when she gets the chance to fly, she is not excited at all. She is scared of heights. So she is super scared now. She is holding the armrest tightly as if it could save her life. She avoids looking outside the window. Mike was already on his way to their destination on a commercial aircraft, as he had things to handle there. She did not notice when an air hostess sashayed towards them with an extra sway in her hips and bent down low enough to show her cleavage to Leo. "Sir, can I get you something to drink?" she offered with a suggestive smile. Leo did not bother to look at the woman. He knows what she is up to, and he never mingles business with pleasure, until Ida. "No," he replied and turned to look at Ida to see if she needed something. But when he saw her stiff frame and pale face, he smiled softly. "You are scared of flying?" he asked her softly. Her head snapped in his direction and she bobbed her head stiffly. He chuckled at how cute she was looking. Her wide eyes looked nervous, while her face was pale, just like a doll. "I don't think I have ever seen anyone who looks as cute as you when they are scared, baby doll." He complimented her. Her cheeks turned pink at his words. She noticed that he was calling her baby doll when they were alone. She is both surprised and shocked at that realization. No one has ever used anything but her name to address her. Not Claire, and definitely not Kevin. She felt a pang of pain at the thought of Claire, but she pushed it down. This is my first time flying. I never crossed the borders of our city," she confessed softly. That made him frown. He never thought about it. "I am glad that I can give you the first experience of flying. "It might feel intimidating, but I am sure you will enjoy this experience," he said softly. She tilted her head and looked at him in awe. He is being gentle and not judge her for the lack of her flying experience. He is very understanding and assures her when he doesn't have to, and when she is not expecting anything from him either. She remembered a time in the past when she confessed in front of Kevin about the same thing, and he laughed and made fun of her. She felt embarrassed then. Even now, she had half a mind not to tell him and was even expecting him to laugh, like how Kevin did, but he proved that he is not Kevin, and far from it. These people are born with a silver spoon, and they take certain things for granted, unlike her. She had to struggle for everything. "I will hold your hand if it makes you feel better," he offered, and entwined their fingers together and held her hand. "Thank you," she whispered. She is moved by his soft gesture. She is so lost in the emotions that he stirred inside her that she doesn't notice when the flight takes off. The fear she was experiencing is gone. She could even take a peek through the small window once in a while. He did not complain, even when she squeezed his hand tightly while they were landing. After a few hours, Ida found herself in a hotel room adjacent to her boss. This room was bigger than her apartment. She explored the room and found a jacuzzi in the bathroom as well. She decided to use that after their meetings. She quickly washed up and changed for their meetings. "Ida, here, take these files and give them to President Hamilton. He asked to review the contract with our new supplier before attending the meeting." Mike rushed inside her room with a frown marring his features. She just finished getting dressed before he knocked on her door. Mike looked exhausted and she felt bad for him. This is about the deal that they canceled with the Nelson Group. Now they found new suppliers, and after the meeting, they are supposed to have dinner with the CEO of Watson & Co., their new suppliers. Tomorrow, they were invited to the company of their new suppliers to check the quality of the inventory, which Mike already checked before they came here. That is the reason why their boss sent his assistant first. He doesn't want to repeat the same mistake that they have done with the Nelson Group. "Sure, Mike. Why don't you sit for a while? I can take it over from here. If I have any doubts, I will ping you." She offered to work for him as he had been working for more than a few hours by then. It is early evening hours, and their meeting was supposed to go on for over 3 hours. As she is slowly getting to know their boss, she is sure he will understand. Mike is surprised by her offer. Indeed, he is tired. He will be dead to the world the moment he hits the bed. But this is a very important contract, and they cannot mess this up. He is confident on Ida that she can handle the rest. She is a very smart girl. She already knows everything about the Watsons that there is to know. She is the one who gave him the info about the company and what he might need to go through after coming here. "Really? But what about our president? What if he gets mad?" Mike asked with a worried frown. She smiled at him. She would have thought the same a few days ago. But now she is seeing that their boss is a good man by heart. "Don't worry about our boss, he will understand," she assured him. He is still a little skeptical, but he is too tired to argue. "President, the files you requested for." Ida placed the set of files neatly on the coffee table in front of the couch where Leo was sitting. He is wearing a black dress shirt, and a red tie is loosely hanging around his neck. His hair is a sexy mess. They still have an hour to attend the meeting, which is in the same hotel where they are staying. Leo picked up the top file and started reading the revised terms of the contract with Watson & Co. He is making sure that everything is as he wants it to be. Ida is wearing a peach-colored bodycon dress that reaches to her knees and hugs her frame like a second skin. It has a high neck with small cap sleeves. It is both professional and also suitable for the dinner party after the meeting. Her hair is hanging down her back, and she is wearing light makeup. "Where is Mike?" he asked, and picked up another file. Ida bit her lower lip with hesitation. Her quietness caught his attention. He raised his head and looked at her expectantly. His gaze traveled towards her lips, which she was biting now. "Is there any problem, baby doll?" he asked with a hint of amusement. She let go of her lips when she noticed where he was looking. No, there is no problem. Mike is resting in his room," she shared. He frowned. Mike has been working for hours now, and he might not have slept the previous night, as he had to catch a flight. I suggested it. He looked so tired that felt that he should rest. We have a long evening today. If he is tired, he might not be able to give his 100%, and moreover, we have a long day tomorrow as well. I thought he needed some rest. It's not his mistake. She defended Mike before Leo could get angry with her colleague. Leo is not angry. In fact, he wanted to give the evening off to Mike himself. He is sure Ida could handle the rest. The fact that Ida cares about the well-being of her co-workers is impressive. It would increase her workload, but still, she did the right thing. No issues. He needed it. He was working straight for more than 20 hours now. Good decision. He appreciated Ida before going back to what he was doing. Both of them discussed the key points that he wanted her to keep a note of. After 50 minutes, a higher-ranked member of the Watson & Co. came to escort Leo to the meeting chamber. "Welcome, Mr. Hamilton. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. I heard nothing but good things about you." Charles Watson, the head of Watson & Co., greeted Leo. Charles is in his late 50s. He is the founder of Watson & Co., a company that he founded 2 decades ago. He has a sweet wife and handsome son. He has gray hair peppered near his temples. Despite his age, he still looks handsome and fit. Likewise, Mr. Watson. Leo shook hands with the older man with a polite smile. Charles Watson is known for the quality of the products he delivers and is said to be a soft-hearted and kind man. "Please, this way. I am really excited to do business with you." Charles expressed his eagerness. Leo smiled pleasantly. "She is Miss Ida Wilson, my assistant." Leo introduced Ida to Charles. "Nice meeting you, Mr. Watson," Ida greeted softly. Until that point, everything was smooth. But when Charles looked at Ida, he froze with shock. He became pale, and a faraway look entered his gaze, as if he was thinking about something else and seeing someone else in Ida. Ida looked at Leo with an uncomfortable frown. Charles is looking at her as if he is looking at a ghost. Leo took a step aside to shield Ida from Charles and everyone in the room. As far as Leo investigated about Charles, he learned that Charles was a gentleman. But the mixed emotions in the old man's gaze are disturbing Leo. Of late, he understands that he hates it if anyone offends or makes Ida uncomfortable. "Mr. Watson," Leo said in his deep voice, which came out as a growl of warning. Charles blinked his eyes to clear the images of the past that were haunting him like a ghost. A past that he tried hard to hide from everyone, including his wife and daughter. Only his friend knows about it. "Apologies for zoning out like that. I didn't mean to offend you. Let's start the meeting," Charles said hastily. He is not looking at Ida and is completely ignoring her. He is sweating and is looking flustered and anxious. Leo did not move a muscle. He did not like the way Charles was acting. "Mr. Watson, I think you are not ready for this meeting. You look out of sorts and something is bothering you. Why don't we postpone this meeting to some other time?" he suggested. He is still shielding Ida. The others in the room started whispering among themselves. Charles looked at Leo and tried to take another look at Ida, but Leo was standing in the way. "Sure, I am extremely sorry for the inconvenience I caused. I will tell my assistant to reschedule the meeting. Until then, why don't you stay in my guest house?" Charles offered. Leo is not very keen on staying anywhere that is related to Charles. He was about to refuse, but Charles started speaking before Leo could. "Please, Mr. Hamilton, it's my way of apologizing. Please," he requested sincerely. Leo saw something in Charles that made him believe that there is more to this story than meets the eye, so he agreed. "All right," he replied. "Ida is confused. Why is Mr. Watson looking at me like that? It doesn't make any sense. This is the first time she has seen him, but he is behaving weirdly. Please, dear God, don't let this contract be ruined because of me. It will impact on the Hamilton Apparel division negatively," she prayed sincerely. After the meeting with the Hamilton Group is canceled, Charles rushes out of the 7-star hotel as fast as he can. He ignored his assistant, who was trying to follow after him, and the others, who were expecting an explanation from him about his weird behavior. He folded inside his car, and the car zoomed out of the driveway seconds later. Charles dialed a number on his mobile and anxiously waited for the other person to answer his call. "Hey, Charles, how was the meeting? I thought it would go on for some time?" Richard Wilson asked from the other end. Charles and Richard are best friends from their high school days. Both the men are successful in their own fields. Richard has only one daughter, and she is in love with Charles's son. Rich, I saw a young lady today. Her eyes and features, they look just like Sarah's. Her nose looks like yours. She looks a bit like Sarah and a bit like you. The strangest thing is that she has a birthmark on her neck, just like you. The birthmark looks like a crescent moon, Charles shared in a shocked tone. Richard is shocked too. He is quiet, so quiet that only his breathing is heard from the other end. What? Charles, have you lost your mind? You remember that Sarah lost her life in an accident, right? It was 22 years ago. How can anyone resemble me and Sarah? Surely it must be a mistake. Are you drunk? Richard snapped. Charles is not drunk, or he is mistaken. He knows what he saw. After all, Sarah was also his friend and Richard's girlfriend. Richard and Sarah were high school sweethearts. Their relationship ended after their years when Sarah lost her life in an accident. I am not drunk or I am mistaken. I know what I saw. I can recognize Sarah's eyes anywhere. Only she had that unique gray shade that she inherited from her family. That birthmark can be ignored as a coincidence. But those eyes, Rich, I think she is your daughter. Charles insisted. Richard's head is reeling with shock. He was intimate with Sarah before she died. At least they thought she did. But he didn't know that she was pregnant. No matter how he thinks about this possibility, he is unable to believe that he might have a daughter with Sarah. That thought gives him a pleasant ache in his chest. Sarah is his only love. He did not love his wife, whom he married out of family pressures. He was only intimate with his wife a couple of times. His wife loves his money more than she loves him, and he was on with it. He cannot give her the same kind of love that he gave Sarah. Where did you see her? Can I see her once? He asked his best friend. Charles nodded eagerly. He knows his friend would ask this. That's why he offered Leo and Ida to stay in his guest house. I invited them to stay in my guest house, the one near the city outskirts. We can go now if you want to see her and find it on your own, Charles said. Richard has mixed feelings now. Charles, what if she is really my daughter? He asked his best friend. Charles is quiet. They both earned good reputations and are members of the elite group in their social circle. If this girl turned out to be really Richard's daughter, then it would be frowned upon by the narrow-minded people around them. Then prepare yourself to become the topic of the season, he replied dryly. Richard rubbed his temples. What if she is not? He asked with a pang of pain in his heart. He is feeling a bit happy that she sired a daughter with his love. If this girl turned out to be his daughter, then there is a chance that his Sarah might be alive too. And that is more than what he wished in this lifetime. Then you can go on as if this never happened, Charles replied quietly. But Richard couldn't ignore after what Charles told him. I want to see her once. How good are your sneaking skills? He inquired. Both the men grinned with mischief. They meant no harm, but Richard wanted to confirm if that girl is really his daughter. On the other hand, in a remote area outside the city, Ida and Leo parked their car outside the looming villa that was sitting on the top of a cliff. There is a dull gray-colored picket fence surrounding the property. There is a small wide staircase that would lead up to the main entrance of the villa. There is a small clearing around the property, but beyond that are tall pine trees hiding this house safely. The house is illuminated brightly, a quiet contrast to its dark and a little scary surroundings. Wow, Ida whispered with awe. When she noticed that they were heading inside a dirt road and there were no other houses nearby, she was a little skeptical about this house. She was even a little scared to stay here with her boss. As Mike was tired and sleeping, Leo decided not to disturb him. Moreover, they will be going back in the morning, so Leo didn't think it was worth waking him up only to come and sleep in this place. So they left him back in the hotel and would join him the next morning. Leave the luggage there. I will bring them inside, Leo instructed her when she opened the trunk of their car to pick up their luggage. It's all right, President Hamilton. I can carry them, she insisted. Leo sighed and turned to look at her. Baby doll, I told you to leave the luggage there, he told her firmly. This is the tone he uses when he wants something to be done, and Ida knows that too. Immediately, she left their luggage and followed after him inside the house. Please come on in, sir, Mr. Watson informed me about your arrival." A middle-aged man opened the door and immediately went to fetch their luggage. Leo and Ida walked inside. The house is well-maintained with expensive-looking showpieces and carpets. The foyer led to a wooden staircase to the left and a kitchen and dining area on the right. Beyond the staircase is the living area with a huge U-shaped couch with a wooden table in the middle. There is a brown carpet in front of the couch, opposite the fireplace. In the guest house, Ida was sleeping in one of the guest rooms when she felt it. As she grew up in foster homes, she learned pretty early that she should never let her guard down, even when sleeping. It must be that reason why she felt the presence of another person in her room, and the images of her foster brother touching her everywhere came back to her mind. She became restless and scared. Her sleep was disturbed, and she opened her eyes only to see a stranger standing near the foot of the bed and looking directly at her. "Ah!" A high-pitched scream rang in the guest house. The person ran away, and Ida was so scared that she couldn't stop screaming in fear. Her heart was pounding, and she rushed out of her room only to collide with a hard, muscular body. She stumbled backward, but two strong arms caught her before she could fall. As it was dark, she couldn't see who the person was. She started thrashing, trying to break free from him. Her eyes are still hazy with sleep, and her memories from the past are still fresh in her mind. And combined with the stranger she found in her room, she is terrified. "Let go of me," she struggles using all her might. "Ida?" Leo is shocked. When he heard her screaming, he ran out of his room to see what happened. But now, looking at her like this, he is confused. She is not listening and thrashing. He is worried that might hurt herself. So he pulled her into his arms and tightly hugged her. He made sure to twist her hands behind her back so that she wouldn't hurt herself and him. "Baby doll, it's me. Calm down," he whispered in her ear. That did it. She stilled immediately. She looked at him with wide, terrified eyes and relaxed. "Someone was there in my room. I saw him standing near the foot of my bed," she told him hurriedly. Her eyes are wide with fear. Whoever it was, they scared her thoroughly. Leo frowned. After having dinner, they both retired to their respective rooms, as they were tired. Leo looked around to see if anyone was there, but the house is quiet. "Is it the man who received us? He said he looks after this place. Is it him?" Leo thought. "It's okay. I am here now. You stay here, let me check," he offered and checked her room, but he didn't find anything. He walked back outside to see her standing in the same spot where he left her. One can tell that she is scared. "Baby doll, no one is inside. Are you sure you saw someone?" he inquired. Sometimes our dreams can scare us too. He is just making sure if there was an intruder present. She wrapped her arms around herself in a defensive position. "I saw someone. He was there," she insisted. "She is looking so small and vulnerable." He felt a pang of pain in his chest. Leo frowned, feeling uncomfortable with the emotions she was stirring inside him. He pulled her into a hug and gently rubbed her back. "It's okay," he assured her. That's when he saw Charles with another man. Leo fisted his palms and gritted his teeth with anger. He glared at his host. He was about to open his mouth to demand an explanation, but Charles shook his head and motioned not to let Ida see them. Leo wanted to punch some sense into the old man, but he remembered the odd reaction from Charles when he saw Ida back in the hotel, so Leo decided to find out what his problem was. "Baby doll, let's go back to sleep. We have a long day tomorrow." Despite his anger, Leo still spoke softly with Ida. "Ida doesn't want to sleep in her room again. She is thoroughly scared." "I don't want to sleep in that room, can I?" She hesitated. Leo pulled back a little and looked at her softly. He is not an idiot to tell her to sleep in the same room again. She is terrified, thanks to Charles and his buddy. "It's all right, you can sleep in my room," he offered. She relaxed and gave him a tight smile. "Come," he led inside his room. She looked at the couch, but he gently nudged her towards the bed. "I can sleep on the couch," she said softly. He smirked. He wanted her to relax. Now he knows who the person she saw in her room. He will find out why Charles sneaked inside her room in the middle of the night like a thief. But first, he has to wipe the look of fear from her eyes. "We already shared a bed once. It doesn't matter if we do that again," he teased her. She gave him a small smile. Usually, she would have blushed or moved away from him shyly. But now fear is coursing through her veins, and she knows that he is harmless. He sighed at her reaction. Gently, he turned her to face him and cupped her face between his palms. "Baby doll, you are not alone. I am here for you. I will not let anyone harm you. I promise," he assured her, and gently kissed her on her forehead. She relaxed in his arms, and for the first time since they met, she hugged him. All her life, she had to face all her fears alone. But now he is promising her that he will protect her, and she trusts him. Leo Hamilton might be many things, but he is not a liar. What the hell were you doing in her room at this hour? Leo is choking Charles with anger. Richard is feeling guilty and worried about his best friend. "Please, let him go. I will tell you everything. We never wanted to scare her like this. I just wanted to look at her once. Please, let him go," he begged Leo. Leo wanted to kill both men, but he controlled his anger and let go of Charles. It took Ida an hour to fall back asleep. The fact that she allowed him to hug her while she was lying down on the bed shows how terrified she had been. And he hates Charles and his friend for doing this. The only reason why he is ready to listen to them is because they showed themselves. "Speak. I don't have patience for nonsense, so speak wisely. If I feel like you both have bad intentions towards Ida, I will kill you," he warned them. No one knows the real Leo. He wanted to rip the Hamilton mask he was wearing and show these two people what he can do. But he pushed his anger down. Ida, she is making him feel things that he thought were for idiots and fools. He wanted to protect her. He is hating if someone offends her. He wanted to erase her fears and assure her he was there for her. And his possessiveness towards her is only growing. Charles coughed loudly and took deep breaths. His friend is helping Charles back to his feet. "I am waiting," Leo snapped. Both the men jumped with fear. They got to witness the anger of Leo Hamilton, and now they are as scared as Ida. "She is my daughter," Richard confessed, which came out as a shock to Leo. Richard was taken aback when he saw Ida today. He believed that what Charles said was true. Ida inherited the features of both of her parents. If he had any doubts about who she was, they were confirmed the moment she opened her eyes and he saw the unique gray shade of her eyes. He was frozen for a split second until she started screaming. He ran outside, cursing himself for scaring her. "What?" Leo asked with a frown. Richard looked at Charles and nodded. Richard and Sarah were inseparable when we were in high school. Both of their parents agreed to their marriage as well. They dated for 4 years until one day, Sarah met with an accident. We all thought she was dead. Richard married another woman, and we all moved on with our lives. But today, when I saw Ida, I was shocked. See, this is the picture of Sarah, Ida's mother. Charles pulled out an old picture from his pocket and showed it to Leo. When Leo saw Ida's mother, he is shocked too. At first glance, Ida resembles her mother a lot, and her unique eye shade is inherited from her mother too. Leo looked at Richard with disgust. "You are not planning to acknowledge her as your daughter, do you?" he questioned Richard. By the way, he sneaked in to see his daughter for the first time in the middle of the night is enough to tell that Richard will not announce to the world that Ida is his daughter. Leo slapped the photo on Richard's chest with a glare. The older man's silence is proof enough. "I can't. I have a reputation in society," Richard said, feeling torn. Leo wanted to punch the man, but he couldn't. Richard is closer to age of his own father, and he couldn't raise his hand on the elders, especially Richard, who is Ida's father. "How is her mother? Why didn't she contact me if she was alive? Why didn't she tell me that she was pregnant?" He asked about his lost lover. He is confused as to why Sarah never came back if she was alive. Leo looked at the pathetic man with irritation. "How would I know? She abandoned her daughter right giving birth to her. Ida is thinking that she is an orphan, rightfully so. Both her parents are cowards who don't bother to take care of their daughter. Her mother left her after birth, and now it's your turn. Unless you want to take care of her and treat her with love and respect and announce to the world that she is your daughter, I don't want to see you both anywhere near her again. She is standing in a place where she is self-sufficient and independent. Don't come into her life to add misery." Leo warned them both. He glared at them both with contempt. "And Charles, I don't want to do business with you," he said before leaving them alone in the backyard of the guest house. Both Charles and Richard looked at his retreating back with guilt and sadness. He cares about her. Charles shared his observation. Richard remembered how tenderly Leo looked at his daughter, and how angry he is on behalf of her. You are right. If my daughter could marry him, she would be happy forever, Richard said wistfully. Charles sighed. They both know that's easier said than done. But why will he marry her? We know how everyone respects the Hamilton name. He will not marry an orphan, Charles said practically. They both walked out of the house with slumped shoulders and a lot of sadness and guilt. Neither of them noticed another man wearing black clothes and hiding behind a tall tree. After Richard and Charles left, that man dialed a private number. Ma'am, Sarah gave birth to a daughter, and Mr. Wilson met his daughter too, that man told someone on the phone. What? Sarah has a daughter? I thought I destroyed her. But that bitch tricked us and hid her daughter. That woman fumed. The man is silent while his owner is cursing and fuming. Kill her. Kill Sarah's daughter. But make it look like an accident, she instructed before disconnecting the call. The man looked at the house inside, which Ida was sleeping beside Leo, and then he looked at their car. Well, this car cannot be safe if I cut the brake wires. They will get into an accident on this dirt road, and no one will find their bodies in these woods, he decided. The next morning in the 7-star hotel where Mike was left to rest, the said man is frowning with frustration. He woke up quite early that morning, only to find out that the meeting was canceled and would be rescheduled for today, and his boss and Ida accepted the invitation of their host to join him in his guest house as an apology. But that's not the problem. Mike was trying to contact his boss and Ida for the last 1 hour without much success. Why can't I reach them? I think the mobile reception in that area might be less. I should wait for them to contact me. They will contact me as soon as they reach an area with good mobile reception. In the meantime, I should contact the Watson group about the time of the rescheduled meeting, he told himself and relaxed. He walked out of his room with long, purposeful strides to the Watson group head office to reschedule the meeting. In the guest house, Ida woke up slowly. First, she heard the chirping of the birds outside, followed by the breeze. Then she noticed how hard the bed she is sleeping on is and how warm. Then she remembered the events of the last night, and her eyes fluttered open with a start. When she did, she saw the muscular chest of a man. Good morning, his voice whispered in her ear, his warm breath fanning the side of her face. Her eyes became wide before she scrambled out of his arms. At least she made it halfway up before he pulled back towards him. She fell on top of him with a gasp. Why so fast? Let me hold you for a while longer, he suggested with amusement. Her cheeks turned red. Slowly she met his amused gaze. President Hamilton, we should not, she reminded him lamely. He smirked at her flustered but cute face. He is not wearing a shirt. She is half lying on top of him and her legs are cocooned between his. Her t-shirt rode up a little by exposing her soft, creamy skin near her lower back. One of his palms is sprawled near her lower back, touching her exposed skin there. Is it? He drawled while he caressed her cheek softly. He cupped her face with his palm and pulled her face closer to his and gently kissed her cute nose. Her long lashes fluttered close at that moment. Last night's events bombarded his conscience. Looking at her sweet and innocent face, he felt a little guilty for driving her father away last night. He should tell her about everything and allow her to decide. She will at least know who her father is. But there lies the problem. Richard Wilson does not want to acknowledge her presence, and Leo knows that it would break her heart. He doesn't want to put her through that kind of pain. Slowly he sat up, holding her still in his arms. He leaned his back to the headboard. Now she is straddling his lap. She is so shy, she is not meeting his gaze. Baby doll, I will ask you a question, and I want you to tell me what you feel about the situation, he asked her suddenly. That made her lift her gaze and collide with his. What? She asked with confusion. She noticed that all the playfulness left his gaze and he was thinking about something. He rubbed his knuckles over her cheek. Your father, what would you do if you met your father now? And what do you think you would do if he wanted to ignore your presence and move on with his life like usual? Do you still want to see him? Talk to him? He asked softly. She is not understanding why her boss is suddenly asking about her father. It's not like she never thought about her parents herself. She did, it more times than she could count. She used to feel lonely and sad when she used to look at other kids playing with their parents. She used to wonder why her parents abandoned her, but she couldn't come up with anything. Being abandoned by the people who are supposed to protect you is the greatest pain for a child. Her eyes became misty. I don't know. I don't know why you are asking this now, but I am sure you are not asking me to make me feel bad or just to talk about something. You might have a reason. So, she paused and took a deep breath and looked away from him. She wished to find her parents and ask them why they did what they did. But she is not that little girl anymore. She knows that they abandoned her because she was unwanted. Demanding reasons will only hurt her more, and she is already near the end of her ropes after what Claire and Kevin did. She is not ready for more pain and disappointments in her life, at least not now. He was never there in my life. If he was, then my mother wouldn't have been alone in the hospital while giving birth to me. So now, after so many years, what's the use of meeting him if he doesn't want to be the father I needed? If he doesn't want me, I don't want him either. I survived this long without them. I am sure I can survive the rest of my life as well, she muttered with pain and scrambled out of his lap gracefully. In her bathroom, she brushed her teeth and washed herself on autopilot. She doesn't want to think about her father. She is trying hard not to cry. So many disappointments and so much pain, she started feeling claustrophobic. She wanted some fresh air, but the moment she opened her bathroom door, he was standing there. Worry and guilt are clear in his gaze. She couldn't help but ask him, "Why? Why did you ask me about my father now? Why do you want to know about him?" She questioned him with pain. Silently, he pulled her into his arms and hugged her tightly. He couldn't see the pain in her eyes. "I don't want to hurt you, baby doll. That's the last thing I would do. I had my reasons. If you want to know who your father is, I can arrange it. But he already has a family." He told her the truth. Ida's heart tightened with pain. Now his earlier question made sense. What if he wanted to ignore you? The dam to her tears broke, and her small frame sobbed with pain. She never understood what she did to deserve this kind of fate. Her parents left her, and the people she trusted betrayed her. Leo closed the trunk of their rental car after keeping their luggage inside. He folded inside the car and looked at Ida, who looked sad and lost. Initially, he wanted to hide it from her to protect her, but he knows that it is not fair for her. He couldn't keep it from her. He knows she is a smart and mature girl. He is sure that she will make a good decision. "You okay?" he asked her softly. She nodded stiffly, but otherwise didn't say a word. He sighed and started the car before driving away from the guest house. The route they are traveling in is a dirt road. On one side it is a steep rocky ridge, while on the other side it's a forest area with tall trees with thick foliage. When Leo had to take a steep right, he pressed on the brakes to slow down, only to realize that the brakes were not working. He had to act fast before their car went down the rocky pathway. He pressed on the brakes again and again with no avail. He knows he cannot take the turn at the speed they are in, but he tried and made it. Barely. That jolted Ida's body to one side. She looked at him with confusion. His driving is never this rash. "What happened?" she asked with confusion. His heart is pounding while he is trying to keep the car under control, but they are going downhill and he cannot control the speed with failed brakes. They would inevitably crash. "Ida, brakes are not working. Hold on tight. We are going to crash," he told her the truth before he took a sharp right. But he couldn't make it this time. He turned the wheels into the woods, where the rate of their survival was high. If they fall down the rocky part, they will not make it alive. But the trees would help them, and they can get away with mild injuries. With that thought in mind, he drove through the trees and their car collided with a tall pine tree. A loud crashing sound was heard and the windshield broke into pieces. The bonnet was crushed, and smoke started because of the friction. Airbags opened up. Due to the impact, Leo's side door broke apart and he fell out of the car. Both the occupants of the car lost their conscience. In the city, Mark is waiting for Charles outside his cabin. "You can go inside now," a young lady told Mark. He nodded at her with a polite smile and walked inside the cabin. Inside the cabin, Charles is confused when his assistant tells him about Mark, who is waiting outside. He is Mr. Hamilton's assistant. Why is he here now? Mr. Hamilton canceled this contract. Did he change his mind? Charles wondered. An image of Leo from last night flashed inside his mind. No, it can't be. He was really very angry last night. He is not the kind of a man who would change his mind abruptly, Charles thought. Morning, Mr. Watson. I am really sorry to disturb you, but your assistant insisted that I should see you. I wanted to know when we can reschedule the meeting. Mark's confident voice pulled Charles out of his head. Mark, I think you are unaware of the changes here. Mr. Hamilton canceled this contract. I think you should call him once to confirm about the same, Charles advised Mark. Mark is taken aback. What? I am sorry. I don't know about this. Usually President Hamilton would have informed me about this, but I don't know why he didn't this time. I tried calling him multiple times, but his mobile is not reachable. Do you have any idea when can I expect them back? Mark inquired with a hint of uneasiness. He is not liking this. His boss is not usually this careless. Charles is shocked to hear that Leo and Ida are yet to come back. The man who takes care of his guest house informed him that they left 3 hours ago. They should have been back by now. Give me a moment. I will inquire with my employee who works there, Charles offered, and immediately dialed his employee in the guest house. On the other hand, Leo coughed and slowly regained his conscience. He is injured in different areas of his body. His right arm is bleeding and he has a gash on his left forehead. He opened his eyes with difficulty and looked around his smoky surroundings. Instantly, he remembered the accident and Ida. He sat up with difficulty as his ribs were feeling sore because of the accident. Ida, he called out for her, but his voice didn't come out as loud as he wanted it to. Immediately, he coughed because of the smoke. He looked to his left and noticed that the smoke was coming from their mangled car, specifically from the engine part. He doesn't know for how long he was out, but he knows that it will not take long for the car to catch fire and it might blow up. He noticed that Ida was still trapped inside the car and she had blood all over her face. Ida, he called out worriedly and moved to her side of the car. Ignoring his bruised and painful ribs, he tried to open her side of the door, but it didn't budge. His heart is pounding with fear. She is not responding, and that is making him worried for her. Damn it, looks like it is stuck. He cursed and rounded the car and leaned inside the car from the driver's side. Ida? He shook her gently. He is relieved to see that her pulse is strong. For a moment he tasted fear on his tongue, and he didn't like it. This is the first time he is scared, and that too not for himself, but for the woman who is more than his assistant. Hey, baby doll, can you hear me? He patted her cheek. Still, she didn't move. He tried to unbuckle her seatbelt, and that too did not budge. That's when their rental car decided to catch fire. Their car caught fire. When Leo noticed it, he became anxious. Ida, wake up, he tried again. To his relief, slowly she opened her eyes. She looked disoriented for a moment before her eyes turned wide. She looked at the smoke and the fire. Thank God. Now let's get you out of here, he said. He tried to unbuckle her belt again. He tugged the belt hard. They both noticed how quickly the intensity of the fire increased. If the fire touches the petrol tank, the car will blow up into pieces. Ida started panicking. She doesn't want to die so young, but she is stuck. Leo tried to pull the seatbelt from over her head, but the belt is stuck so tightly that it's not giving her any space to squeeze out from. The fire started speeding from the engine, and the door on her side caught fire too. She could feel the heat spreading inside the car, but she is stuck with no way out. Her panicked gaze caught her boss, who was trying everything he could to pull her out. He looked composed, but she knew he was not. His palms were now bleeding, but he didn't seem to mind. The insides of the car turned so hot that they both are sweating, and she can actually feel the burning sensation on her skin. She knows that her boss will die along with her if he stays here any longer. You should leave me here. This belt is stuck. You cannot sit. Fire is spreading. Run before the car goes up in flames, she advised him sadly. The fact is, she never lived her life for herself. While living in foster homes, protecting herself was her main motto. After meeting Claire and moving out of the foster system, she did everything for Claire and then for Kevin. Her career, is the only thing that she did for herself. No fun, no enjoyment, nothing. Now she is on the verge of losing her life, but she couldn't risk Leo Hamilton's life for her own. He is a great man who employed thousands of people. No one will care if she dies, but so many people will grieve his loss. His life is more important than her own. He paused what he was doing and looked at her. Their faces are inches apart. Both of them turned red because of the heat and suffocating smoke. He met her sad gaze with his. He should do what she is asking him to. That's the practical thing to do. But he cannot leave her like this. He simply can't. He doesn't know why he can't, but he refuses to leave her here. No, he refused without hesitation and resumed his work. Ida is taken aback by his reply. She can feel the heat rising, and the seat she is sitting on is also hot. Leo, are you insane? This thing is stuck. You cannot cut this belt without a knife or scissors. The fire is spreading. Don't waste your time and risk your life. Just go. She gave him a shove to push him out of the car. Usually, she will not be this bold in front of him and push him like this. But this is not the situation in which she is expecting to survive. Risking his life is foolish. Her shove was unexpected, so he moved a little backward, but soon recovered and resumed his work, completely ignoring her suggestion. Now the fire completely engulfed the entire car. Ida is worried about his life. Are you insane? Go and save your life, she snapped at him, feeling sad about the fact that she was going to die today, and she was risking his life too. She is moved by his selfless concern for her. He is risking his own life for her. No one has done anything like this for her, but a man whom she met a week ago is risking his life for her. Leo's jaw tightened with frustration. He looked at her and for the first time showed her how worried he was. No, it's either we both survive or we will die together. But don't worry, I will not let us die here in the middle of nowhere. And about the harsh way you spoke with me just now, I will spank you for that later. But first, let's get the fuck out of this car. He muttered the last part. She is shocked by his words. She is not as confident as him. But before she could tell him that he was acting like an idiot, she started coughing because of the smoke they were inhaling. Leo refused to die here. He tugged it so hard that he snapped the plastic lock into two. Come, crawl from this side. That door is stuck, he advised her and moved aside to allow her to crawl out. He moved out first and tugged her out of the car as fast as he could. They both fell backward because of the momentum. They started rolling down the hill, and after a few minutes the petrol tank caught fire and loud blast is echoed around the woods. The smoke and the sound cannot be missed. Leo and Ida stopped rolling. They can see the fire from where they are, but it's not easy for anyone to see them if they are standing near the accident area. Ida is lying on her side while Leo is lying on his stomach. Ida coughed again. She is feeling dizzy because of the amount of smoke she inhaled, and now she can feel the pain of her injuries. Leo sat up slowly. His ribs hurt like hell. A normal person couldn't have been able to move with this much pain. But Leo is used to pain, and he is not just anyone. He crawled towards Ida and slowly cradled her head and placed it on his thigh. He leaned back onto nearby tree trunk. "How are you feeling?" he asked softly. It's a struggle for him to breathe. But still, he is managing it. To an onlooker, they cannot really tell that he is in pain. Ida slowly sat up and leaned onto him. Her head hurts and her vision is turning blurry. She closed her eyes and rested her head on his shoulders. Her skin is also red. "I am fine, I think," she responded truthfully. "I am fine, I think," she responded truthfully. They both are quiet for a moment. With their injuries, neither of them can climb this mountain to reach the dirt road. Their mobile and belongings were also burned along with that car. They have to wait for someone to come and help them. "Why did you save me? Why did you risk your life for me? You should have left me." "What would have happened if that car got burned just a few minutes earlier?" she asked softly. Her body is hurting and she is feeling faint. Her mind is not working clearly. That must be the reason why she is speaking like this with her boss, or it must be a near-death experience. Whatever it is, she asked for his reasons that made him risk his own safety for her. Leo is quiet. He is looking at the burning car. The fire is so intense that he is sure nothing will be left behind. Only the car's skeleton will be left. What Ida asked is a valid point. He doesn't know why he saved her. He is not the kind of man who would ignore anyone who is in trouble, but not at the cost of his own life. But with Ida, it was different. He was only worried about her and completely ignored his safety. And he doesn't want to dwell on details about his reaction. If our roles were reversed, and if you were free and I was stuck, would you leave me to my fate? He asked a question of his own, not replying to hers. Ida quietly processed his question. She would have tried to help him too. I would have tried to help you, but not everyone is the same. I am sure Kevin would have run away the moment the fire started, she shared bitterly. He wrapped his hand around her shoulder and squeezed gently. Kevin is an idiot who missed Ida for Claire. You should move on and forget about the past, he advised. He never thought that he would sit with her under a tree and talk about relationships, but it is happening, and he is trying not to think about his aching ribs. Ida opened her eyes and looked at him with a sad smile. I did. I moved on from Kevin. I think I never truly loved him. It must be the fact that he pushed me into it and I started feeling guilty for rejecting him again and again. Whatever the reason is, I never truly loved him because it was easy to move on from him. I am deeply hurt because of what Claire did. But Kevin, he was brushed out of my life the moment I found out that he cheated on me. But I am still trying to move on from Claire. She's like a sister, my only family, she confessed softly. After her confession, he understood why she tried to protect Claire when the latter slapped Ida, and why she was quiet when Claire accused Ida in the hospital. Then he remembered her father. He started feeling like an asshole after he saw how much the truth affected her. Her tears felt like daggers to his heart. People who learn your worth will never leave you, no matter what. They will stick by your side even if you want them to leave you alone. They are the ones who are loyal to you. People like Claire are selfish and worthless. Don't waste your energy and dignity for them. She is not worth it, Ida. Give her what she deserves. This period will pass and you will only become tougher and stronger than ever. He boosted her confidence and morale. His words touched her heart, just like his actions. From the moment they met, he always supported her. They will never leave you. His words made her remember how he struggled to save her even though she asked him to leave. That's when she remembered that she didn't thank him for saving her life. She leaned closer to him and gently placed a feather-light kiss on his cheek. Thank you for saving my life, she whispered softly. He is taken aback by her genuine gesture. His cheek tingled when she kissed him. This kiss felt special. This felt better than the ones they shared before. It was always him who stole kisses from her, but this is the first time she kissed him willingly. This doesn't feel romantic, but he felt deeper in his heart. His heart started pounding. A single kiss from her, and he is a crazy mess. He doesn't want to dwell on details about why she is affecting him so much when no one ever could. Everything about her feels special. No other woman could make him feel this crazy, but this one did it. He ignored the fluttering sensation in his heart and teased her softly. If you think that I would forget about your spanking with this kiss, then you are wrong, he teased softly. She chuckled lowly in her throat. Her head started aching, and she started feeling pain. Leo, she whispered through the pain. His heart skipped a beat when she called him by his given name. This felt intimate and natural. He liked it. He hummed in response, still reeling with the feeling of her calling his name. I told you I'm feeling fine, right? She asked. Her voice was just a whisper. He frowned, which made him look at her with worry. Her eyes are closed and she is leaning fully on him. Baby doll, are you in pain? He asked with worry. She coughed lightly and nodded. Even that move made her groan with pain. It hurts everywhere. My head hurts the most, she confessed. She did not feel the pain because of the adrenaline. Now that it is wearing off, she could feel the pain now. Shit, he cursed and slowly stood up to his feet. Moving even a little is hurting him in his ribs. But he ignored the pain and lifted her in his arms, bridal style. Baby doll, talk to me, he urged her while carrying her up the hill with his iron will.